Imagine yourself high in the Himalaya, above the clouds where the wind is thin and prayer flags dance with the silence. In this sacred stillness, time begins to stretch, and so does memory. You're about to hear the story of a being not quite a cat, not quite a person anymore, but something in between. Something moving, slowly, silently, through lifetimes. Through karma, consequence, and chance. This is not a tale of heroes or villains, not really. Until the sound of Dharma is finally heard, like a bell in the fog. It is a quiet journey, step by step, across the 6 realms of existence, through joy and hunger, anger and repentance. 20 lives, 20 lessons, all lived by one soul, caught in the shape of a cat. Tonight, as you rest, this story will unfold gently. Let's begin. In the world of humans. You were born in a remote mountain village, a place where the winters came early and the firewood was stored high. But you never chopped wood, never carried water. You paid others to do that. You inherited land, livestock, and the grandest house in the valley. People greeted you with a half bow, not out of respect, but out of fear. And in your large home, you kept many animals, not out of compassion, but convenience. Cats to hunt mice, dogs to guard gates, horses to carry your grain. You did not speak to them. You did not see their eyes. Once, a young monk from the nearby temple asked if he could chant a blessing for your animals. You refused. You think chanting makes them live longer? You said, sipping your tea, they're just beasts, tools, nothing more. And yet, it was not hatred that filled you. It was something softer ... and perhaps more dangerous. Indifference. You believed you had earned everything. You believed others, people, and animals alike existed to serve your comfort. When the village held their full moon fast, you mocked them. When pilgrims passed your gates, you scowled. Alone. And when your own cat grew too old to catch mice, you cast it out into the snow. That night, the cat died under the juniper tree, and though you slept soundly, warm by your hearth, the wheel had already turned. One evening, you slipped on a wet stone path. A small fall. You struck your head. When you opened your eyes, there was no house, no servants, only dust beneath your hooves, a collar around your neck, and the dull, aching rhythm of burden. The human life was over. You had stepped down from the highest ledge of the wheel and into the next realm. Next, you will know the life of weight, of labor without rest, the life of a creature who walks in circles, not knowing why, the life of a donkey. The world was now narrower. Your legs were thick, your spine bent. You had no words, no questions, only weight. You had been reborn as a donkey, not wild nor free. You belonged to a trader who walked the dry mountain roads between villages. He called you by no name, only whistled when it was time to rise. Each day, before the sky turned gold, he loaded your back with sacks of grain, salt, or yak hides. You would walk for hours, through riverbeds and switchbacks, until your knees buckled and your breath came hard. And yet you bore it, quietly. But something strange began to happen. Each time your hooves touched stone, you remembered something. Not in thought, but in feeling. A memory of a warm house, of sitting still, of telling someone else to fetch the water. It came not as guilt, but as pressure in your chest. A pressure that deepened each time you passed a shrine and could not bow. You had no hands, no voice, only a tired heart and a sore back. One night, as you slept standing, you dreamt of a small gray cat. It lay under a tree in the snow. It looked at you, not with anger, but with knowing eyes. Then it disappeared. The next morning, you slipped on ice. The load crushed your ribs. You felt no anger, no fear, only acceptance. The life of a beast had come and gone, but not without learning. You now knew what it meant to be used. You now knew the pain of not being heard, not being thanked. Yet there was still ignorance in you. You had borne suffering, but had not yet let go of craving. And so you fell again. This time, not onto stone, but into flame. What comes next, ... is thirst. Not just for food, not just for water, but for something always out of reach. The next realm awaits, the world of hungry ghosts. Hunger is not just in the belly. Sometimes it lives deeper, in the spirit, a hunger that nothing can satisfy. You awaken in a gray and distant place. The sky is dull like old ash. The air smells faintly of burnt incense and sorrow. You look down at your body, or rather, what's left of it. Your limbs are thin as sticks, your stomach swollen and painful, your mouth dry and cracked. You are no longer a person, not even truly an animal. You are a hungry ghost, a creature born from greed, condemned to a world where food turns to dust and water becomes flame. You wander endlessly. Everywhere you go, you catch glimpses of things you once craved. A bowl of milk, a fish grilled over fire, a slice of warm bread. You run toward them, hope flashing in your hollow eyes, only to watch them vanish, burn, or rot the moment you reach out. Each bite becomes ash. Each sip scalds your throat like molten oil, and still the hunger deepens. In this suffering, strange memories begin to surface. You remember a time, long ago, perhaps when you were human, when you tossed away food because it was not warm enough. You see the image of a street dog you once chased away. You hear yourself saying, "Don't feed stray cats. They're dirty." And now, you are that cat, alone, unwanted, forgotten, desperately searching for kindness and finding none. One day, you crawl into the shadow of a ruined shrine. There, you find another ghost, a dog, bones and fur and sadness. You look at each other. You do not fight. There is no strength left for fighting. Only silence. Only reflection. That night, an old monk passes by, gently chanting prayers for the dead. His voice is soft, steady, like a river flowing through the void. As the syllables reach your ears, something shifts. A breeze, a coolness. You swallow, and for the first time in this life, it doesn't burn. It's not food you've received, not water, but something gentler, peace. A whisper inside says, "This is enough. You don't need to chase anymore." You lie down. You close your eyes. For once, not from exhaustion, but from surrender. And in that stillness, something changes. When you open your eyes again, you are no longer a ghost. You have been reborn. Now you are a kitten. Small, quiet, real fur, real breath, and a real beating heart. But this time, you are not in a home. You are not protected. You are alone in the forest, in the wild, where instinct rules and mercy is rare. And so the next realm begins. The realm of instinct, of survival. The animal realm where wisdom is dim and danger is close. Where the soul forgets again. In this life, your body is warm again. You have fur. You have claws. But you no longer have questions. You are a wild cat, born in the shadow of ancient cedar trees. No collar, no shelter, no fire to curl beside. Only instinct, only survival. You live alone, not out of choice, but because no one ever stayed. You hunt mice, snakes, and birds. You climb trees not for beauty, but to escape larger beasts. You eat when you can, sleep where you must, and run whenever footsteps draw near. Your eyes are always watching, your heart always braced. There is no kindness here, not from others, not from yourself, but sometimes, under the moonlight, in a clearing where fireflies blink like distant stars, a stillness settles over you, and in that silence, something stirs. A memory you cannot name. A hunger not for food, but for something else. You remember warmth, a bowl, a name. Hands that once fed you, then struck you. A child's laughter, followed by shouting. But these thoughts are soon swallowed by the growl in your stomach. The forest does not allow reflection, only reaction. One day, you chase a bird through the tall grass. It is small and bright. It sings. You pounce, as you always do, fast and silent. But when your claws catch it, something happens. It doesn't scream. It doesn't struggle. It simply looks at you, its tiny chest rising, falling. You freeze. For a moment, you see yourself small, helpless, under the paw of something bigger. And you remember when you were the one begging for mercy, when no one listened. Slowly, you lift your paw. The bird flutters away, vanishing into the night. You do not eat that day. You do not sleep well either. But deep inside, something unfamiliar stirs. Compassion. It's not yet strong, not yet steady, but it is real. Later that week, a forest fire spreads from a distant field. You run, like all creatures do, but the smoke is fast, and your small lungs cannot carry you far. You collapse under a fallen branch. And as your vision fades, you hear it again, the chanting. Soft, gentle, familiar. It echoes through the trees. It sounds like someone remembering you. It sounds like someone forgiving you. And once again, the wheel turns. In this next life, you are given strength. Claws not for hunting, but for defending. You will rise again, but not yet in peace. Strength is not always a blessing. Sometimes it is a mirror that reflects the anger we carry and the pride we cannot release. In this life, you are powerful. Sleek fur, golden eyes, muscles that ripple beneath your coat. You are a temple guardian, a cat entrusted with sacred grounds in a remote Himalayan monastery. The monks call you blessed. They feed you first. They say your presence wards off spirits and protects the Dharma. But deep within, you are restless. You do not know peace. You know control. You know dominance. Other cats approach the shrine, stray, curious, humble. You chase them off without mercy. You swipe at birds that land near the offering bowls. You hiss at dogs even when they bow their heads in silence. You are feared. And in that fear, you feel strong, but not joyful, not still. Each day, you sit by the altar, eyes fixed on who dares come too close. Each night, you dream of being replaced. You wake, pacing, prowling, protecting what was never truly yours. One evening, a young black and white kitten is brought in by the novice monks. It's sick, weak, too small to eat. They wrap it in cloth, place it near the altar, and chant blessings over it. You watch from a shadow. Your tail twitches. Your mind burns with questions you cannot ask. Why do they care for this one? What about me? What if I am no longer the chosen one? You approach the kitten while it sleeps. You lean in nose to nose. It shivers, and in its shivering, something in you softens. You remember how it feels to be small, to need help, to be pushed away by someone strong. You lie down beside the kitten, just once, just for the night. You don't touch it. You don't chase it. You simply share the silence. In the morning, the kitten has passed away, but the monks say something strange. How rare it is for a temple guardian to keep vigil. They light incense for the kitten, and for the first time, they place a second bowl beside yours, filled with warm milk, untouched. You do not drink from it. You simply watch the steam rise, and something rises with it, an old, buried sadness, a grief you never allowed. Later that year, you fall ill, quietly, without resistance. You no longer fear being replaced. You no longer fight shadows. You lie near the offering table, the same place the kitten once rested. And when your breath finally leaves you, you feel it. Not pride, not power, but humility and release. You gave up the need to conquer. You laid down the sword you carried in your chest. And so you rise again, not higher, but deeper, into a realm not of war, but of choice. You are born again, this time as a child in a small, humble village nestled in the shadow of snow-capped mountains. Your clothes are worn, your stomach often empty, but your heart is tender and open. You share what little you have: a crumb of bread, a warm bowl of milk, a kind word to a wandering cat. The villagers sometimes call you the boy with a golden heart, though you do not understand the meaning fully. Your family is poor, but your spirit is rich in compassion. Each day, you watch the cats come and go, some stray, some tame. You feed them from your small plate, whispering blessings your grandmother once taught you. But not all are kind. One day, you see a group of older children chasing a small cat. They throw stones, laugh cruelly. You run to stop them. You shield the cat with your body, and your hands are scraped by rough stones. The cat escapes, but your heart aches. You wonder why some people hurt what they do not understand. At night, you dream of the temple guardian cat you once were, fierce and proud. You see its golden eyes soften in the dark. You hear a voice say, "Kindness is strength. Mercy is power." You grow stronger, not by force, but by love. You learn to protect the weak not with claws, but with courage. And slowly, the world around you changes. Not in grand ways, but in small acts: a smile shared, a meal offered, a prayer whispered. You do not yet understand the full meaning of karma, of cause and effect, but you begin to live it. And as the seasons pass, you find your way back to the Dharma, a path illuminated by the light of compassion. The wheel turns once more, from human heart to heavenly grace, from suffering to awakening. The journey continues. The sun, it's warm today, just like most days. It pours its golden light onto my fur, making me feel sleepy and pairy. A fat bumblebee buzzes past my ear, and I flick my tail in annoyance. I jump down from my perch on the windowsill and stretch, claws extended and retracted. Today is a good day to nap in the sun. But wait, there's a butterfly. Oh, what a beautiful butterfly. It flutters past my nose, and I bat at it playfully. The butterfly lands on the other side of the garden wall. Can't have it. I jump up and push my paws against the cold stone. No, don't be jealous, little cat. There are plenty of butterflies to go around. You can find another flower to pounce on. I hear a rustle in the bushes and turn to see another cat emerging. She shakes her fur, revealing her sleek, black form. She walks with an air of confidence and power, and I can't help but feel a twinge of envy. Where has she been? Why does she smell like the wild? My fur bristles as she approaches, and I hiss, baring my teeth. Back away. This is my garden. She doesn't seem to hear me. She walks right into my favorite sunbathing spot, and I'm forced to move aside. I glare at her, but she just looks back at me with amusement in her emerald eyes. Does she know how to read my mind? Because if she does, she's having fun at my expense. She's enjoying my misery. Just then, a gentle hand strokes my head, and I purr loudly, rubbing against the fingers. Finally, someone who understands. Someone who knows how to comfort me. But when I look up, my heart sinks. The woman is looking at the other cat, praising her, scratching behind her ears. I watch, my body growing cold with jealousy, as the two of them walk away together. Oh, great being, why have you forsaken me? Why have you brought me to this heavenly realm, only to make me suffer from envy? Here in this pure land, where everything is perfect and everyone seems happy, I am tormented by dark thoughts. Even in paradise, the seeds of suffering remain. I close my eyes, trying to shut out the images of the woman and the other cat. I focus on the warmth of the sun on my fur, on the sound of birdsong all around. But the peace is shattered by a new sound, the tinkling of a bell. I open my eyes and see a vision that makes my heart skip a beat. A bodhisattva, a being of infinite compassion, is approaching me. Her eyes are pools of wisdom and kindness, and her gentle smile makes me feel safe. She kneels beside me and speaks in a voice that resonates deep within my soul. "Little cat, why do you suffer?" I look up at her, my eyes brimming with tears. "I am sorry, great being. I do not deserve your compassion. I am filled with envy. I see others basking in your love and care, and my heart fills with bitterness. I want what they have, and I don't understand why it is not mine." The bodhisattva's smile widens, and she strokes my head. "Little cat, listen to me. True happiness does not bloom from possessions or pleasures, but from a mind free of grasping. You cannot find lasting joy in what you do not possess, nor can you be truly happy if you cause others suffering in your quest for pleasure. Let go of your envy, little cat, and learn to find contentment in the present moment." Her words echo in my mind long after she has gone. I close my eyes, breathing deeply, trying to let go of this suffocating grip of envy. As I exhale, I feel a sense of calm washing over me. I may never understand the complexities of the teachings, but in that moment, I feel a shift within. And so my journey continues, one step at a time, one breath at a time. The heavenly realm is but one step in my soul's journey. In the vast expanse of time, I will keep learning, keep growing, keep awakening. Once more, my child, you are returned to the human world. You are born as a young shepherdess in a small mountain village nestled amidst rolling hills and pastures that stretch as far as the eye can see. Your days are filled with the gentle routine of tending to your animals, a peaceful symphony of yaks, sheep, and the many cats that wander the high pastures. You wake before the sun, the crisp morning air nipping at your cheeks. You wrap yourself in warm woolen shawls, their soft textures a comforting embrace against the chill. As you lead your flock through the misty meadows, the dew-kissed grass glistening under the rising sun, you greet each animal by name. Your voice, a soothing melody that echoes through the valleys, carries their individual stories, their joys, their fears, their hopes for a safe return to the fold. Your connection to these animals is profound, an intricate web of empathy and understanding that transcends the boundaries of species. You feel their pain, their hunger, their thirst, and you respond with unwavering tenderness. For you, each creature is a sentient being deserving of love and respect. Your reputation grows, child. Villagers from distant lands hear of the shepherd's daughter who speaks to animals, and they come seeking not just your wisdom, but also your blessings. They bring their sick and injured animals to you, their eyes filled with hope, mirroring the trust they have placed in you. Yet your journey is not without its storms. One winter, a fierce blizzard sweeps across the mountains, howling like a wounded beast, lashing the village with icy fury. When the storm subsides, the full extent of the damage becomes heartbreakingly clear. Many animals are lost or injured, their bodies battered by the elements, their spirits crushed by fear. You work tirelessly, day and night, tending to their wounds, whispering words of comfort and strength. Your hands, rough and weathered, become raw and bleeding, yet you do not falter. You call upon the spirits of the mountains, ancient and benevolent, to guide your healing touch and bolster your resolve. In the quiet moments when the wind whispers through the mountain pass, you are filled with memories, not just of this life, but of the countless lives. You have lived each a unique melody in the grand symphony of existence. You recall the agony of the battlefield, the sting of betrayal, the gnawing pain of hunger, and the desperate struggle for survival. And with each remembrance, a solemn vow echoes in your heart. I will not sow seeds of suffering. I will be a guardian of life, a bearer of kindness. But the path to enlightenment is a winding one, my child. Old habits die slowly, and sometimes the seeds of frustration, anger, and despair take root within you, threatening to overshadow the light of your purpose. After a particularly challenging day spent tending to a sick lamb, you find yourself weary and disheartened. As twilight paints the sky in hues of purple and orange, you notice a small cat slinking in the shadows, its ribs showing through its matted fur, its eyes dull with hunger and fear. Despite your exhaustion, something within you stirs. You reach out your hand, palm up, a gesture of peace and trust. The cat hesitates, then takes a step forward. It nudges your hand with its head, purring softly. You gather the cat in your shawl, its tiny body trembling as you walk home. In that moment, a profound realization washes over you. The turning point you have been seeking, the small act of mercy towards a helpless creature, has opened a floodgate of compassion within your soul. You understand now that true enlightenment lies not in grand gestures, but in the quiet, everyday acts of kindness. It is in the soothing touch, the healing word, the offering of food and shelter that you find your purpose. A sense of calm, of profound contentment, settles over you. The turmoil within you quiets, replaced by a deep inner peace. And in your heart, a new seed of awakening is planted, nurtured by the promise of a life lived in harmony with all living beings. As you continue to walk along the path, you feel a presence. It is ancient and wise, yet childlike and curious. Behind you, you sense the presence of a great teacher. But now is not the time for questions. Not yet. There is work to be done. As you round a corner, you find yourself in an entirely new environment. You are somewhere you have never been before. This time, you are born in the realm of the Asuras, beings powerful and proud, always fighting, always guarding. And once again, you take the shape of a cat, but not soft, not gentle. You are fierce. Your fur is dark as storm clouds. Your eyes gleam like polished obsidian. You prowl the courtyards of a royal monastery, feared and admired. They say no mouse dares cross your path. No snake survives your watch. You are the temple's shadow, loyal, quick, and unforgiving. But beneath your growl is a deep, ancient fire, jealousy, pride, attachment to control. Other cats come, friendly, naive, seeking warmth. You drive them away with a hiss. You mark every wall, every path as yours. You sit upon the high walls and watch the monks chant, not with longing, but with suspicion. You do not understand their peace. It makes you restless. One day, a small novice monk dares to pet you while you sleep. You lash out, a shallow scratch. His eyes widen, not in fear, but in sadness. He says nothing. He only bows to you. The next morning, he leaves a bowl of warm milk outside your corner. He places a flower beside it. Day after day, he returns. You resist at first, but slowly his quiet devotion softens the iron in your heart. One evening, you sit beside him. He chants softly, not to you, but near you. He tells you of Mara, the demon of delusion, and the bodhisattva who smiled even in battle. And as the words drift into your ears, something flickers, a recognition, a distant echo. You begin to see your fury came from fear, your claws sharpened by insecurity. That night, you do not fight sleep. You curl beside the offering bowl, for once at peace. When your final breath leaves this body, you are not snarling. You are still. The protector has laid down its sword. And so you wander again, deeper into the bardo, where ghosts appear and disappear. Here, the energy is heavy with desire. Some ghosts linger close to the path, reaching out with translucent hands. They want to touch you, to pull you back, to hold you. But you keep moving forward. You know better than to trust these wisps. They will lead you astray. Their neediness is a snare, and so you pass by unmoved. Some time later, you come across a vast palace shimmering with gold. Inside, you see a king and queen upon a magnificent throne. They glow with otherworldly beauty. As you approach, they beckon to you with raised hands and smiling faces. You know who they are, even without needing to hear their names. Desire and her son, Illusion. They want you to join them in their realm, to rule by their side, to have everything your heart could ever want. You pause, tempted. How sweet it would be to give in, to lay down your burden, to let go of your quest and stay here instead. For a moment, you almost do. Almost. But then you shake your head, remembering all those faces, all those lives left behind. And you turn away, leaving them to their splendor, leaving them to their emptiness. You are almost there. Only one more obstacle remains. Ahead, you see a wall of writhing darkness. It reaches toward you, trying to grab you, to tear you apart. You can hear whispers within the darkness, voices pleading, bargaining, threatening. But you do not falter. You have come too far to be stopped now. You are filled with resolve. You raise your head, and with a mighty leap, you clear the wall and find yourself bathed in light. The tunnel is behind you now. The cave echoes with your victory. You are home. When you opened your eyes the first time, it was to endless darkness. Now you open them again, and you see the sun. Warmth floods your body as you stretch and yawn. You are surrounded by the comforting sounds of birdsong and running water. A gentle breeze ruffles your fur. You feel whole, complete, at peace. For now, your work is done. You can rest easy. The world is safe. Balance has been restored. Mara is vanquished. For now, the cycle continues. You are reborn again and again, each time taking on a different form, each time walking a different path, each time learning a little more, growing a little wiser, becoming a little freer. You awaken again in a place between shadows and silence. You are not seen, not heard, not remembered. You have become a hungry ghost once more. But this time, your form is smaller, more fragile. You are a creature shaped like a cat, but thinner, translucent, like smoke caught in twilight. You dwell beneath the stone steps of a great monastery. Above, monks chant, bells ring, incense drifts like dreams. But you cannot climb the stairs. Each day, you watch bowls of rice, sampa, and milk placed on the offering altar. You smell them. You see them. But if you try to reach them, your paws pass through. Or worse, the food bursts into flame, or turns to worms, or disappears altogether. Your stomach is always aching. But deeper still, your heart is hungry. Hungry for love, for kindness, for meaning. You remember flashes, not from this life, but from one long gone. You were a protector once, strong, proud. You chased others away from what you now long for. And now you understand. You are not being punished. You are being shown. Each day, a novice monk walks past you. At first, he cannot see you. But one day, as he places a bowl of milk at the temple gate, he pauses. He closes his eyes. He chants a short verse of compassion and places his palm to the ground. In that moment, you feel it. A breeze, a softness, a tear in the veil. You do not drink the milk, but you no longer crave it. You feel full, not in the belly, but in the soul. For the first time in this realm, your hunger quiets. You curl beneath the steps, not out of pain, but out of rest. And when you close your eyes, you do not wake as a ghost. You wake as a kitten again. The lesson is remembered. Not all hunger must be fed. Some must be understood. The journey goes on into new forms, new trials, and deeper understanding. Do you ever feel empty inside? Like something is missing, even though you can't quite name it? Do you find yourself constantly seeking new things to fill the void? only to feel just as empty as before? You might think you need more money, a better job, a bigger house, or maybe just a few more likes on your latest Instagram post. But what if I told you that your true fulfillment lies not in what you possess, but in who you are becoming? Think of the countless hours we spend trying to build the perfect life, only to find ourselves still feeling unfulfilled. We chase after external validation and material possessions, thinking they will bring us lasting happiness, only to be left feeling empty and even more lost. But what if the secret to a truly fulfilling life is not out there somewhere, but within us all along? What if the key to our happiness is not in what we achieve, but in who we are becoming? It's easy to get lost in the pursuit of external success and to measure our worth by our accomplishments and possessions. But true fulfillment comes from within. It comes from embracing who we are and becoming the best version of ourselves. Imagine a life where you feel a deep sense of purpose and direction, where you feel confident and comfortable in your own skin. A life where you are not defined by your job, your relationship status, or the number of likes you get on social media. A life where you feel connected to something greater than yourself, and where you know that you are making a positive impact on the world around you. This is the life that awaits you on the other side of fear. On the other side of fear lies growth, self-discovery, and transformation. It is on the other side of fear that you will find your true purpose and your greatest joys. But fear not, for you don't have to do this alone. You are not meant to go through this journey alone. You have the power within you to transform your life and become the person you were meant to be. Embrace who you are, become who you are meant to be, and you will find the fulfillment and happiness you have been seeking all along. Remember, the greatest rewards are often found on the other side of our greatest fears. There is no great beginning this time, no blazing light, no grand awakening. Only a quiet, chilly breath, a heartbeat. Small, soft, fragile. You are born again. This time as a kitten, left alone in the courtyard of an aging temple, nestled deep in the mountains. No one knows where you came from. No mother appears. No littermates dot, just you. Your eyes are not yet open. Your fur is thin and patchy. The wind cuts through the stone walls like a slow, cold knife. But you are alive, and slowly, the world arrives. One soft footstep at a time, you learn the smell of old wood, of rice cooked before dawn, the warmth of a distant hearth fire, and the sound, soft, repetitive, of human voices chanting ancient syllables. Om Mani Padme Hum. The monks do not notice you at first. You are small, quiet, easily missed. Hide beneath a worn stone bench, curling into your own warmth, surviving off drips of rainwater and wind-blown crumbs. You watch birds from the shadows. You listen to the rustle of robes and the clinking of beads. You are not afraid, but you are not at peace either. You are waiting for something. You do not know what. One morning, as snow begins to fall, an elderly monk sees you, finally. He kneels beside your hiding place without reaching in. He does not speak. Instead, he closes his eyes and bows. The next morning, a small bowl appears by the bench. Warm milk, a few grains of barley. Enough. Slowly, cautiously, but no one interrupts. No one claims the bowl. It is yours, and not yours. From then on, the monks begin to notice you. They place bits of leftover food on wooden platters. They whisper blessings in your direction. They smile when you pass. You grow. You begin to explore the temple grounds, not with urgency, but with gentle curiosity. You curl beside warm stones at noon. You climb onto the rim of large bronze bells and nap beneath faded silk prayer flags. Sometimes you lie near the chanting hall, and you do not understand the words, but something in your chest feels still, held, seen. And slowly you begin to remember not as thoughts, not as memories, but as feelings. You remember hunger and how you once hoarded. You remember strength and how you once guarded. You remember silence and how you once feared it. But now you listen. You sit for hours watching candles flicker. You follow the monk who sweeps the courtyard in slow circular motions. One day, he pauses, and he speaks to you for the first time. Even a cat can become awakened if it learns to sit still. You blink slowly, curling your tail around your feet. You do not understand the words, but you feel their shape. Another winter comes, harsher than before. One morning, the monks find you lying very still beneath it. Prayer wheels dot your breathing is shallow. Your body small again, they carry you inside the chanting hall. Wrap you in cloth, place you near the altar. They light a single candle. The youngest monk whispers, "May this soul find peace." And in that moment, as your breath fades, you feel it. No hunger, no fear, no pride. Just stillness. For the first time in many lifetimes, you are not chasing anything, not fleeing anything, not guarding anything. You are only resting, and that is enough. The journey is far from over, but something deep within is healing. Slowly, surely, a soul is finding its way. You are born again into the human realm. This time, in a small mountain town where the wind always carries the scent of burning cedar, and bells echo across rooftops. You are born blind. The world comes to you not in light, but in texture, in vibration, in breath. You hear before you understand. You feel before you see. Your family is kind, but poor. They have no medicine to restore your sight, no means to send you far, but they give you something else, a gift carved from wood and strung with silk. A lute. You spend your childhood curled near the stove, listening to your grandfather pluck melodies that speak without words. And slowly, your fingers learn to do the same. The notes become your voice. Your world. Each string you pluck is like a path in the dark. Each vibration, a shape your soul can feel. By the time you are grown, people in the village call you. They sound weaver. They say your music makes the old cry and the young fall silent. You play at weddings, at funerals, and sometimes alone by the riverside. Not for others, but for something you cannot name. One day, while playing beneath the monastery gates, you hear a faint sound, a rustle, a purr. A cat brushes against your ankle, warm, deliberate, soft. You stop playing. The cat stays. From that moment on, she is always near. You never ask her to follow. She simply does. You name her Lamo, after the goddess of compassion. She becomes your shadow. When you play, she curls beside the lute. When you eat, she shares what you can spare. At night, her purring lulls you to sleep better than any lullaby. And though you cannot see her, you feel as though you've known her for a very, very long time. Sometimes, in dreams, you see her, but not as she is. You see flashes, a ghost beneath temple steps, a warrior cat guarding an altar, a kitten shivering alone. You wake from these dreams not in fear, but in wonder. One winter, when snow has buried every road, you fall ill. Your fingers tremble. The lute strings feel strange under your hands. You lie beside the fire, Lano curled at your feet, and softly, barely audible, you begin to hum. A melody comes through you, one you've never played before. It feels ancient, filled with longing and peace. Lamo lifts her head. She stares toward the shrine you keep in the corner of your room. A small clay statue of the Buddha, a bowl of incense, and a folded prayer cloth. She walks toward it, sits, simply watches. You close your eyes. Your final breath is not full of sorrow. It is full of music. And in that final moment, just before the silence comes, you remember. You have been many things. You have taken, you have given, and now you are letting go. You leave behind a song and a cat who knows your soul. The wheel turns once more toward reflection, toward redemption, toward a path less bound by shadow. You are born again into the human realm. This time, in a small mountain town where the wind always carries the scent of burning cedar, and bells echo across rooftops. You are born blind. The world comes to you not in light, but in texture, in vibration, in breath. You hear before you understand. You feel before you see. Your family is kind, but poor. They have no medicine to restore your sight, no means to send you far, but they give you something else, a gift carved from wood and strung with silk. A lute. You spend your childhood curled near the stove, listening to your grandfather pluck melodies that speak without words. And slowly, your fingers learn to do the same. The notes become your voice. Your world. Each string you pluck is like a path in the dark. Each vibration, a shape your soul can feel. By the time you are grown, people in the village call you. They sound weaver. They say your music makes the old cry and the young fall silent. You play at weddings, at funerals, and sometimes alone by the riverside. Not for others, but for something you cannot name. One day, while playing beneath the monastery gates, you hear a faint sound, a rustle, a purr. A cat brushes against your ankle, warm, deliberate, soft. You stop playing. The cat stays. From that moment on, she is always near. You never ask her to follow. She simply does. You name her Lamo, after the goddess of compassion. She becomes your shadow. When you play, she curls beside the lute. When you eat, she shares what you can spare. At night, her purring lulls you to sleep better than any lullaby. And though you cannot see her, you feel as though you've known her for a very, very long time. Sometimes, in dreams, you see her, but not as she is. You see flashes, a ghost beneath temple steps, a warrior cat guarding an altar, a kitten shivering alone. You wake from these dreams not in fear, but in wonder. One winter, when snow has buried every road, you fall ill. Your fingers tremble. The lute strings feel strange under your hands. You lie beside the fire, Lano curled at your feet, and softly, barely audible, you begin to hum. A melody comes through you, one you've never played before. It feels ancient, filled with longing and peace. Lamo lifts her head. She stares toward the shrine you keep in the corner of your room. A small clay statue of the Buddha, a bowl of incense, and a folded prayer cloth. She walks toward it, sits, simply watches. You close your eyes. Your final breath is not full of sorrow. It is full of music. And in that final moment, just before the silence comes, you remember. You have been many things. You have taken, you have given, and now you are letting go. You leave behind a song and a cat who knows your soul. The wheel turns once more toward reflection, toward redemption, toward a path less bound by shadow. You are born again into the human realm. This time, not into luxury, not into suffering, but into solitude. You arrive on the edge of the world, a child of a nomadic family living between winds and mountains. You speak little. Even as a baby, your cries are rare. Instead, you stare with wide, silent eyes at the stars, the fire, and the long shadows cast by sunrise. Your family says you are different. By the time you are 10, you have begun to wander. Not far, just past the fields, to the river, to the stone where birds gather. You sit and watch them for hours. UNOVING. You do not know why. But deep within you, something whispers. You've been here before. When you're 16, you leave. You don't run away. You don't resist. You simply bow to your sleeping family, take your wool shawl, and walk. For many years, you walk from village to village, temple to temple, not asking, not explaining. You do. Not speak much, only when needed. People offer you food, water, and places to rest. In return, you sweep temple courtyards. You mend torn robes. You feed stray cats. They always come to you, cats. Always. And you always bow to them. Some monks laugh at this. Others weep without knowing why. One day, you arrive at a temple by a cold river, high in the north. You recognize it. You know this door. You know this stone. You know the bell. You sit in the courtyard. You close your eyes. And you stay there for 3 years. No one tells you to stay. No one asks you to leave. You become part of the temple, like the moss on its stones, like the smoke from its incense. You do not shave your head. You do not wear robes. But still, they call you monk. Each morning, you rise before the others. You offer a handful of milk to the temple cat, always the temple cat, and sit beneath the prayer flags as they flutter in the wind. Sometimes you speak, and when you do, it is only one sentence. You say, in silence, the Dharma speaks loudest. That is all. You never preach. You never teach. But still, they learn from you. One day, an old monk falls ill. You sit with him for 3 days, saying nothing. When he passes, they ask if you will chant over his body. You do not. You simply place a small white feather on his chest, then bow. No one understands. But everyone feels it. And slowly, something changes in you. Not a breakthrough, not a revelation, but a peace. A quiet stillness that no longer searches, no longer questions. One autumn morning, you walk to the riverbank and sit beneath a tree. You close your eyes. You take 3 deep breaths, and as your final exhale leaves your lungs, you smile. No fear, no regret, just stillness. And then silence. You lived as a watcher, a guardian, a seeker. Now you are none. Now you are ready. But the wheel has not yet stopped. There is still more to see, and more to let go. You are born once again, not in a monastery, not in a forest, but in a place that lies between shadow and sunlight, a forgotten shrine hidden in the roots of an old Bodhi tree near the edge of the world. You are a cat, but not like before. Your fur is a silvery black, your limbs long and still. Your body is small, but your eyes, they are everywhere. One in the usual place, another in your brow, and dozens more unseen, resting in your whiskers, your tail, your breath. You see everything. The ants on the stones, the wind moving leaves before it touches the trees, the memory of a footprint long after the step has vanished. They call you the cat of 1,000 eyes. You do not meow. You do not chase. You simply sit, always watching. And yet, despite all that you see, you do not understand. You watch a young monk sweep the temple grounds. You see his doubts. You see his desires. But you cannot help him. You watch a beggar leave crumbs at the gate for the birds. You see the gratitude in the sparrow's wings. You see the greed in the rat that comes after. But you cannot interfere. Each time your eyes offer you another glimpse of truth, you feel further from it. You can see the karma of others, the roots of their suffering, the threads that bind them. But your own? Still hidden. You once believed that seeing everything would bring you peace. But now you realize seeing is not the same as knowing. You begin to close your eyes, one by one, not out of blindness, but by choice. you stop following the wind's secrets. You stop tracking the dance of insects. You let go of the silent maps behind each face you see. Instead, you listen not to the chanting of the monks, to the rustling of leaves above, to the faint breathing of the earth beneath your paws. Each day, one more eye falls quiet. Each night, one more question dissolves. And in that stillness, you begin to remember. Not what you've seen, but what you've been. A ghost clawing at food that turned to ash. A warrior cat, proud and alone. A blind man who played melodies only the heart could hear. A silent guardian beneath a bronze bell. And now, you begin to feel the edge of it. The samsara that binds all things. One evening, as the sunset melts, into indigo, you lie upon the temple steps. You close your final eye, and in that moment, you see not with sight, but with surrender. You do not fall asleep. You fall inward, into something deeper than thought, deeper than seeing, into a space where all your lives gather, not in confusion, but in stillness. You hear a whisper, no voice, no language, just the feeling. To know is not to see. To see is not to hold. Let go. And so, you do. The cat of 1,000 eyes saw everything but peace. And yet, in choosing not to see, the first glimpse of truth began to dawn. There is no thunder when you are born, no cries, no pain, only silence. And breath, you emerge not from a womb, but from a memory shaped like a cat, small, silent, but different. Your fur is silver black, shifting like ink in water. Your paws make no sound, and your eyes are not only on your face, they are everywhere dot behind your ears, on your back, within your breath. You blink, and 1,000 realities shift in response. The world is no longer mystery. You see it all. The monk who sweeps the courtyard with a heavy heart. You see the sorrow beneath his silence. The merchant who chants devotions by the shrine. You see the fear behind his generosity. Even the bees who dance from flower to flower. You see their past lives. How once they too were tigers. And once, grains of sand dot, you sit by the old Bodhi tree, where time collects like mist. You do not move. You do not blink. You do not sleep, because you cannot stop watching Dot. It is not a choice. It is your nature. And so, you watch the sunrise, and the ants, and the shadows of things that have not yet arrived. The monks call you sacred. They whisper that you are an emanation, that you are a sign of deep truths approaching. But you know the truth. You are not enlightened. You are overwhelmed Dot everywhere. You look, you see the pain that binds beings to the wheel. Desire, fear, attachment Dot. And yet, with all your eyes, you cannot see your own delusion. Dot, you begin to question. Is it enough to observe suffering? If I do not transform it? You watch yourself watching, and feel a great loneliness rise, not of being unloved, but of being unable to act. One day, a little boy visits the shrine. He has no prayers, no incense, only a pebble he thinks is beautiful. He lays it at the foot of the statue, then turns and sees you. You with your 1,000 eyes. He does not scream. He does not bow. He just sits beside you, quiet, still. For a moment, your many eyes still. They stop searching, and one of them, just one, closes. The first, you do not understand why, but it brings peace. So you try another. The next day, you close a second, then a third. And the more you close, the more you feel. Not the world's pain, not its history Dot, but it's now Dot the warmth of the stone beneath your paws. The breeze moving through, the prayer flags, the rhythm of your own heartbeat, slow, present, alive Dot with fewer eyes. You begin to see not the web of karma, But the threads of compassion that run through it, Dot, you no longer analyze. You begin to listen. A monk tells you his dreams while feeding you rice. A dying cat lies beside you and exhales its final breath in your fur. You let the children rest their heads on your side when they cry, and for the first time, you stop watching. You start being Dot. It is not easy. Sometimes you feel the old hunger for knowledge, the craving to know, to dissect, to understand Dot, but now you respond with a breath, and another eye gently closes. One evening, a thunderstorm rolls in. The bell rings 3 times low, long, resonant. You walk out into the courtyard. Rain dampens your fur. The world is blurry, not because you cannot see, but because you no longer need to. You sit under the Bodhi tree. Close your last eye. The world doesn't vanish, Dot, it softens. You feel the stone beneath you. Warm from the sun, cooled by rain, Dot, you hear the monks chanting, each voice a thread in a great woven breath. You feel the pulse of life move through. You, not around you. And at last, you surrender. Not because you are weak, not because you are lost, but because watching has taught you nothing more important than this. Letting go is not blindness. Letting go is wisdom. Soundscape, slow rain, distant thunder, soft prayer bells. Then a low hum, one long meditative note, fading into silence. The cat of 1,000 eyes closed each one, not out of fear, but out of grace. And in doing so, saw the one truth that cannot be watched, only lived. You awaken into darkness. Not the kind that comes with night, but the kind that never ends. The kind that hums with echoes, but never answers. You are a spirit again. A ghost, but not the same as before. You do not howl. You do not rage. You drift. Your form is thin, like fog, like smoke, like memory. You pass through walls, through stones, through faces. You are not hungry for food. You are not thirsty for drink. You are starved for something far deeper. Understanding Dot in your last life, you saw too much. And in this one, you remember all of it. You remember the suffering of the monk who chanted in fear. You remember the pain of the dying cat beneath your paw. You remember the threads of karma you once traced like spiderwebs, each strand sticky with sorrow. And now, you want to make sense of it, but you cannot touch it. You cannot speak. You cannot interact. You hover near temples, drawn by the scent of incense and old wood. You listen to the prayers of the living. You try to answer them, but your voice is only wind. You linger beside a young girl, alone in a courtyard. She cries into her sleeve. You reach out a paw, as if to comfort her, but your limb passes through her shadow, and you realize you are no longer part of this world. You are its echo. You drift, as ghosts do, not with anger, but with endless yearning. You think, if I could just tell them what I've seen, maybe I could help. But this realm is not for helping. It is for learning through longing that you begin to see other ghosts. Some howl, some chase, some cower, but you simply watch Dot until one evening, as the sun bleeds over the horizon, you reach the base of a cliff where prayer flags flap in the cold wind. There you find a shrine, small, unadorned, but alive with presence, Dot, and beside it sits a monk. Old, quiet, eyes half closed. He does not see you. Not with his eyes, but he speaks, his voice calm as mountain snow, to the spirits who wander and thirst. May you remember, even longing is impermanent. You pause. The wind holds still. For a moment, the ache in your chest ceases. He chants. A verse. You don't know the language, not in words, but in meaning. You feel it. You feel it deep within your hollow ribcage, in your formless spine. In the space where your heart should be, Dot, it is warm. For the first time in this realm, you stop drifting. You sit and you listen. You stay there as the sun disappears, as stars emerge, as the monk finishes his chant and quietly departs. You remain. Alone, but no longer lonely, Dot. You do not know how long you stay. There is no time here. Only space, Dot. But one night, as the moon climbs over the mountain, you feel something shift. You feel the beginning of form. Your paws return faint, but real. Your whiskers twitch. Your body is small again. Dot furry, Dot fragile, Dot, and breathing. You are a kitten once more, not in a palace, not in a temple, but beneath the shrine where the monk once sat. You do not meow. You do not run, Dot. You simply curl into a ball and sleep. Not to escape, not to forget, but to rest. The spirit that watched too long finally turned inward, and in surrender, found the path forward. You awaken into a place where time does not flow. It spills, like water over a broken edge. The ground is not solid. The air hums, but carries no wind. The sky is colorless, not gray, not black, just forgotten. You do not walk here. You drift. You are not flesh. You are not shadow. You are the echo of a question never asked aloud. You are a hungry ghost once again, but this time, your hunger has changed. You are not starving for food. You do not chase after water that turns to fire. You have long passed those cravings. This time, your hunger is quieter. More dangerous, Dot, you are starving for understanding. A hunger shaped like a thought that never finishes. A thirst that no wisdom can quench. You remember too much. All your eyes, once opened in the animal realm, now feed you memory instead of vision. You remember the musician who played to the stars, the silent kitten beneath the bell, the cat who saw karma like thread, but could never weave it, Dot. And now, in this formless state, you yearn to make sense of it all. Why the suffering? Why the wandering? Why the wheel? You drift toward temples, not to pray, not to be seen. You drift to listen, but the words are fog to you now. Mantras melt before they reach your mind. Sutras sound like water striking stone. Beautiful, meaningless. Follow monks into dreams. You wait at the edges of sacred spaces. You try to step into rituals, but you leave no mark. You want to whisper, I was here before. I saw everything. Please, help me remember why. But your mouth does not open. Your breath makes no sound. Even your grief is weightless. Dot one evening, near a crumbling Hermitage on the edge of a frostbitten valley, you come upon something small. A bowl of milk, Dot, left on a flat stone. Fresh, warm, simple. There is no one around, but something about it feels familiar. You reach toward it, and this time, it does not turn to ash. It does not vanish, Dot. You cannot drink it, but you can feel it, Dot. Compassion, Dot, not yours. Someone else's. Someone who still walks in a body, who left this offering not for reward, but for the unseen. For you, you curl beside it. Not because you need it, but because you are tired, you rest. And for the first time in this realm, you dream, Dot. You dream not of past lives, but of future ones. Not as punishment, not as escape, but as possibility, Dot. In your dream, you are a child again, offering crumbs to birds, smiling at the sound of a cat's purr, planting a tree without needing to see it bloom, Dot. And when you wake, you are still beside the bowl, but something inside you has softened. You turn toward the shrine nearby, a stack of worn prayer stones, a statue cracked by frost. Dot, you bow. You do not know why, Dot. No one taught you how, but your soul remembers. That night, a monk appears, weathered, limping, with eyes clouded by age. Dot. He sees nothing in the spot where you sit, but he pauses. He smiles. He whispers, May the unseen be blessed. May those in hunger find enough. May those who wander find rest. And then he places a single incense stick before the stone, lights it, and leaves. The smoke curls in the air like a thread reaching upward, not to the gods, but to the heart. And in that rising spiral, you feel it, a ripple. The space around you begins to shift. Your form condenses, not into pain, not into fear. Into presence. You feel pause, whiskers, a breath rising, and falling. Your tail flicks once. Your ears twitch. You are small again. Furry, soft. You are a kitten, curled in the snow beside the offering bowl. And though the wind howls across a mountain, you feel no cold. You feel held. You do not meow. You do not move. You rest. For the first time in many, many lifetimes, your soul is not running. It is simply being. The spirit who watched too long learned that knowledge is not the cure. That longing will not lead you home. But stillness, stillness, just might. And so the wheel turns again, not as punishment, but as mercy. You are born once more as a human, not into power, not into pain, but into humility, a quiet village, a modest home, parents who speak in soft voices and rise before the sun. You are the second of 5 children. There is little food, but enough to share. There is no wealth, but no cruelty either. Your family tends to rice fields during the day. At night, your father recites sutras in a whisper, while your mother lights a single candle before the household shrine. You grow up watching, not with judgment, not with hunger, just attentiveness. You notice small things, a sick bird nestled in a thatch roof, an elder who coughs when no one is listening, the cat who limps behind the market stall, too proud to beg. You begin to save scraps of food from your own bowl, tiny offerings, not out of pity, but out of an instinct deep in your bones, a memory you cannot explain. You don't remember being a cat, but your hands do. They offer gently. They never grab. When you are 16, you feel the calling. Not from a voice, not from a dream, but from the road. You leave your village barefoot, with a cloth satchel, and 3 things inside: a bag of rice, a wooden prayer bead, and a folded piece of paper with the name of a distant temple. You walk for months, through forests, rivers, cities, and ruins. Wherever you stop, you look for cats. And where there are cats, there is suffering. But there is also dignity. Old, 3-legged toms resting on shrine steps. Mothers hiding their kittens behind broken statues. Thin, dusty tabbies watching fishmongers from rooftops. Each time you pause, you offer a handful of rice, or a scrap of barley cake, or just a bow. You say nothing, but you always whisper the same thought: may your hunger lessen, may your fear fade, may you suffer one life less because of this. People begin to notice. Some laugh, some call you mad. Others begin to leave bowls out themselves. You do not seek praise. You do not preach. You just walk. By the time you reach the distant temple, high in the misted hills, you are thinner, tired, but your eyes are bright. The monks ask why you came. You answer, I don't know. Only that there were lives I must repay. They offer you shelter. You refuse robes. You refuse status. You ask only for a place to sleep and a bowl to carry food. Every morning, you walk the village path. You call no one, but cats come, dozens of them, from alleys, from the trees, from memory. You feed them one by one. Some bite, some flee, some rest in your lap and purr like old friends. And you remember, not who they are, but who you were. One evening, a small girl approaches you. She asks, Why do you love cats so much? You pause, and you smile. Because they taught me silence. And in silence, I learned compassion. Years pass. You become known, not as a monk, but as the pilgrim who feeds cats. People begin to copy your path, not out of devotion, but out of inspiration, Dot. And yet, you never ask them to follow. You only bow. One morning, you do not rise. You are found beneath the Bodhi tree, a kitten curled against your chest, a bowl beside you still full. Your eyes are closed. Your face at peace. Dot. No one knows the last thought that crossed your mind. But perhaps it was this: if I cannot end suffering, at least I can lessen it. And in that final breath, the wheel does not shudder. It does not fight. Dot. It turns. Gently, the pilgrim gave what he could, not out of wisdom, but out of memory. A memory older than thought, and a kindness deeper than form. You are born into a quiet world, not into sorrow, not into joy, but into the soft middle ground, where kindness is small, and life hums like wind through grass. Dot. You are the second son of a herder. No one expects you to lead. No one expects you to shine. Dot. And so, you are free. Free to wander the riverbanks alone, to lie under trees and trace clouds with your finger, to leave breadcrumbs for birds without needing thanks. Dot. You grow slowly, quietly. You watch more than you speak. You listen to animals breathing. You follow ants. Observe how shadows move across rocks as the sun travels. You are not brilliant, not praised, but inside you, something ancient stirs. Dot. At 16, you hear a phrase from a traveling monk. Every offering, no matter how small, nourishes the one who gives it. The words take root. Dot. You carry them for years, tucked behind your ribs, like a seed waiting for the right season. Dot. And then, one morning, with no fanfare, no goodbyes, you tie your boots, take a walking stick, and step outside the village. Gate. You are not fleeing. You are not chasing. You are simply walking. Dot. The land welcomes you. Each path greets your feet like an old friend. Rain falls, and you do not curse it. The sun scorches, and you bow to it. You carry little, a shawl, a satchel, a pouch of barley, and salt. But your most sacred item is a small, carved bowl. Dot. It is not for you. It is for them. Dot. In every village. You do the same. You look for the cat. No. One sees. The one sleeping behind a cracked wall. The one too thin to beg. The one others say is cursed, or mean, or unlucky. You kneel. You speak no words. You offer a pinch of barley soaked in yak butter, or scraps from your pouch, and you wait. You never force. Dot. You never lure. You simply offer. Dot. And always, one comes. Dot. In a bustling town near a river. A cat with a torn ear rests beside your bowl for hours. She does not eat. She only watches. You sit with her in silence. That night, she follows you to the edge of town. You bow to her. Dot. She disappears. Dot. In a high-altitude village where the wind never sleeps, you find a mother cat nursing 2 kittens beneath a cart. You leave fish bones and old cheese. When you return the next day, only the bones remain, picked clean. The kittens sleep deeper now. The mother looks at you, not with gratitude, but with peace. Your days are repetitive, simple, almost invisible. You do not seek disciples. You do not write teachings, but the old women smile when they see you. The children run to you with scraps. Sir, I saved this for your next cat. You thank them, not with words, but with presence. One autumn afternoon, while crossing a sunlit plateau, you pause to rest under a lone juniper tree. 6 cats appear, one blind, one missing a paw. One still a kitten. Dot. They form a loose circle. You place the bowl in the center. Sit. Chant softly. Dot. Not a formal mantra. Just, may all beings be fed. May all beings be seen. May none be forgotten. They, wind carries your words like prayer flags across the slope. The cats eat slowly, then. One by one, they curl around you and sleep. A traveler from the city once asked if you were a sage. You smiled, then pointed to a three-legged tabby. I follow her. She laughed. You meant it. Sometimes you dream of being a cat. Not just once many cats. One who guarded temples. One who could not eat. One who saw too much. But you no longer crave answers. You no longer trace karma with your thoughts. You simply serve. Each time you place your bowl on the ground, you place your ego there with it, and in return, you receive something greater than gratitude. The stillness of being useful. The joy of going unnoticed. The grace of feeding a forgotten god in feline form. One night, in a remote pass, where even wind has grown tired, you light a single stick of incense for the hungry ghosts you can no longer see. You place your bowl on the stone. No cat comes, only stars. You bow anyway. You fall asleep beneath a sky that forgets to end. And for the first time in many lives, you do not dream of fire or hunger or wandering. You dream of a single purr. Steady, endless. The pilgrim never reached nirvana, but he reached the forgotten, and in doing so, walked a path straighter than many who sought only escape. The wheel turns, but now it creaks more gently. You are reborn not in hell, not in heaven, but in the garden that lies between. The sky is always gold here. The trees drip with fruit. Every leaf shimmers. Every breeze carries scent. No one goes hungry. You are a cat again, sleek, strong, and beautiful. You are not stray. You are not suffering. You are admired. The monks feed you before they feed themselves. They say you are the protector of their temple grove, that you keep the birds away, guard their sacred figs, bring them luck. You sit atop the stone wall, watching. Tail curled, ears alert. There are other cats here, too. They come and go, soft-pawed and respectful. They bow to you. You do not bow back, not out of cruelty, but because you've begun to believe you are above them. You were once humble, once small, once soft, but now your heart whispers a new mantra. I deserve this. You bask in the sunlight. You walk where you like. You take the choicest fish from the offering bowls. And yet, you are not happy. Because in this realm, the Asura realm, there is plenty, but no peace. One day, a new cat arrives, young, quiet, fur pale like snow. She does not challenge you. She does not beg. She simply curls beneath the Bodhi tree and purrs, not loudly, not for attention, but because she is content. And that unsettles you. You begin to watch her, more than the birds, more than the grove. Why does she not seek more? Why does she not claim her place like you did? And why? Why does her stillness irritate you? You grow restless. You eat more. Sleep less. Your tail flicks. Your eyes follow her shadow. One evening, she receives a soft pat from a visiting llama. You feel heat rise behind your eyes. That should have been my blessing. You leap to the altar bowl before her and knock it over. The grains scatter. The llama looks at you, not angry, but sad. You retreat to your wall. You do not understand what came over you. Only that something inside you has grown sharp. Jealousy, a quiet poison, not against harm, but against others' peace. And now you remember, this is not the first time. Once, long ago, you were a proud warrior cat. Once you sought justice that smelled like revenge. Once you looked into another's calm and saw your own storm. You watched the quiet cat again. But now, differently. She does not need praise. She does not seek attention. She gives away her offerings to smaller cats. She sleeps near the chanting halls, unmoved by noise. And in her stillness, you feel a mirror, not a challenge, a reflection. That night, as the grove sleeps, you approach her. You do not hiss. You do not claim space. You simply sit close, but not touching. You breathe with a rhythm in, out, and something softens in you. You were never fighting her. Only the quiet within yourself you had forgotten how to hold. You lower your head. You do not purr. You do not bow, but you do rest. For the first time since you entered the garden, your eyes close, not to guard, but to trust. The Asura cat was not evil, only proud, only lonely, only tired of fighting for what could not satisfy. In learning to rest beside peace, he began to remember it. You are born again, but this time not into hunger, not into grief, not even into the struggle for survival. You are born into a place that others would call paradise. A grove temple nestled between cliffs and clouds, trees that bear fruit all year round, a sky that glows soft amber, neither day nor night. Monks walk in silence, not out of discipline, but contentment. Even the wind seems to chant sutras. And you are a cat, not a stray, not a shadow. You are revered. You are born sleek and strong. Your coat shines like obsidian, warmed by fire. Your eyes glow like golden bells. The monks call you the protector of the temple garden. They feed you offerings from their own bowls. They say you bring harmony. They tell pilgrims that your presence is auspicious. You begin to believe them. At first, this feels innocent. You walk the temple paths with purpose. You curl atop the altar steps like a statue. You leap gracefully from pillar to pillar, watching the world below. You are not arrogant, not yet. You are simply used to being seen. Then the others arrived. The temple's reputation spreads. More cats come, scruffy, timid, curious. Some stay for a night. Others linger for months. Most bow to you, keep their distance, share what little they find. But one day, a new cat enters the garden. You notice her immediately. She is small, younger, not as beautiful, not regal, but still. She does not seek thee. Monks, she does not challenge you. She curls up beneath the ancient Bodhi tree and sleeps. When she eats, she takes only what is left behind. When the bell chimes for evening chant, she sits by the steps, tail wrapped, gaze serene. She speaks to no one, and yet everyone begins to notice her. A novice monk places a cushion beside the tree where she sleeps. A visitor leaves a garland of flowers nearby. The abbot pauses one morning, gazing at her, and whispers, "A being content with nothing teaches everything. Your fur bristles. You have done everything right. You've kept birds away from the shrine. You've stood watch while pilgrims meditated. You have been the temple's symbol for years. And now this quiet stray draws their eyes. You begin to watch her, not with curiosity, with comparison. You notice that she eats slowly. You eat faster. She rests by the prayer wheels. You climb higher, to the statues, to show them you are still above. But it no longer feels peaceful, because in her silence, you feel something missing in yourself. One dusk, you leap onto the altar where she sleeps. She opens her eyes, but does not move. You swat at the offering bowl beside her. It tumbles. Grains scatter. Still, she does not flinch. She simply looks at you, not with fear, not with sadness, but with something worse, compassion. You hiss and leap away. You hide in the outer walls, pacing. Your mind spins. She doesn't do anything, yet they respect her. I have protected this place. She's trying to take what I've earned. The jealousy burns, but beneath it, something else stirs. Not anger, not pride. Shame. That night, as the monks chant, you sit alone behind the incense house. You watch your own tail twitch, and you remember another garden. Long ago. You were a mighty warrior cat then, feared, obeyed, but lonely. You remember the heat of battle, the thirst for recognition, the moments of victory that felt like defeat, and suddenly you understand. This realm, the Asura realm, is not hell. It is success poisoned by ego, pleasure tainted by comparison. It offers everything, except peace. The next morning, you do not take your usual place on the altar. You sit under the tree instead, a respectful distance from her. You do not meow. You do not seek her gaze. You just breathe. She blinks once, then closes her eyes. You both sit there in stillness. Birds flutter past. The bell chimes. Leaves fall, and slowly something loosens inside your chest. The need to be seen, to be best, to be first. You let it drift away like a prayer flag in the wind. The monks pass by. They smile, but they no longer praise you. And strangely, you don't miss it. You spend your days beneath the tree now, not guarding, not climbing. Just being. Other cats gather nearby. You let them. You do not lead them. You do not drive them off. You share your space, your food, your silence, and in return, your nights grow still again. You no longer chase shadows in dreams. You purr again, softly, with no audience. One morning, the pale cat brushes against you as she passes. Not to claim, not to yield. Just as equals. And in that moment, you know, this life is nearing its end. Not because of death, but because something has been learned. The cat of the jealous garden learned that pride is the most silent chain, and peace only begins where comparison ends. In letting go of his throne, he made room for wisdom to sit beside him. You are born into light, not into flame, not into a sunrise, into something higher, something purer, a place where sorrow has never walked, where the wind carries only laughter, where flowers bloom even in shadow, where the moon is not cold, it is kind. You are no longer a cat of stone walls and temple paths. You are a celestial cat, reborn in the Deva realm. Your fur is white with streaks of gold, like cream stirred with sunlight. Your eyes hold the shimmer of stars not yet born. You do not walk, you glide. You do not sleep, you rest in radiance. And all around you, gods sing with voices like wind chimes. They play among clouds. They debate compassion like poetry. They weave lotus petals into the sky. And you are adored. You lie on cushions that reshape themselves to your comfort. You drink nectar that tastes of memory. You are stroked by hands that never tire, fed by beings who do not hunger. There is no pain here, no death, no sharp corners. Everything unfolds as it should. And so, you forget. At first, you forget only small things. The chill of stone beneath your paws, the ache of an empty bowl, the sound of crying from behind a closed door. But soon, you forget why you once cared. You forget the cats you fed, the lives you touched, the wheel you turned through, again and again. Not because in this world, there is no wheel, only drifting lotus boats, only eternal music. And you begin to think, perhaps I was never meant to suffer. Perhaps I was always meant to shine. You purr, constantly now, though not from peace, from pleasure. Pleasure that asks nothing and gives nothing back. One day, a visitor arrives. Not a god, not a being of light. A monk, dreaming in deep meditation, finds his way into this realm. He bows before the devas. He walks beneath glowing trees. Then, he sees you. You stretch, elegant, timeless. He smiles, but does not approach. Instead, he places a bowl of plain barley at the base of your cushion, Dot. No one has done that in this world. You look at it, puzzled, Dot, and then you remember, Dot, not everything, just one thing. The weight of a starving kitten in your arms. The purring of an old tomcat at your feet. The way you bowed once, not to gods, but to the forgotten, Dot. The monk speaks, his voice gentle. Great one, even joy must end. Even this realm fades. And when it does, may you remember how to be kind. You blink, Dot, not from confusion, from awakening. A drop of warmth rolls down your nose. Not rain, not nectar, a tear. The first in countless Aeons. The Devas grow silent. They do not understand, but you do. You eat from the bowl, slowly, not because you are hungry, but because it is real, Dot, and real things matter. That night, the skies ripple with new colors. The other gods dance. But you sit still. You look down, not in shame, but in longing. For the world below, Dot, where beings still suffer, still cry, still search, and something in you whispers, I will return. Not because I must, but because I still can help. Time passes differently here. It loops. It looms, but your heart begins to shift. Your purring grows quieter. You're resting. Place simpler. You begin to walk again, not glide. You look for cracks in this paradise, and in those cracks, you see seeds of wisdom. One dawn, the petals beneath you dissolve. The stars dim. The winds hush, Dot, your body, golden, shimmering, dissolves, Dot, not in pain, not in fear, but in promise. The Deva realm cannot hold you now. You are ready. The cat who forgot suffering found beauty without purpose. But when she remembered, she chose to return, not to rise, but to lift others. The gods watched her go and whispered, that one has seen the truth. Certainly, here is a deeply extended, richly detailed version of segment 20. The cat who heard the Dharma, yet still walks the wheel, designed for a calm, reflective, and meditative narration, lasting about 18 to 20 minutes. This final segment carries the story to a meaningful, gentle close, emphasizing the rarity of encountering the Dharma and the ongoing journey of awakening. Segment 20, The Cat Who Heard the Dharma, Yet Still Walks the Wheel, full extended. Version, approximately 18 to 20 minutes. Soft, soothing narration with spiritual depth and calm resolution. You awaken once more, not as the fierce hunter, not as the proud guardian, not as the restless spirit, but as a humble listener. The air is cool, scented with cedar and incense. You find yourself at the edge of a monastery, perched on a quiet mountain slope, where prayer flags flutter lazily in the wind. Dot here. Monks chant in low, steady tones. Their voices rise and fall like gentle waves, weaving words of wisdom older. Then stone, Dot, you are a cat once again, soft-furred, alert, and small. But something within you has changed. You are no longer just a creature of instinct. You carry memory, not only of past lives, but of truths glimpsed and of the great turning of the Dharma wheel. Days pass slowly. You watch from shadowed corners, listening to the monks' chants, watching the flicker of candlelight, feeling the rhythm of breath and silence. One morning, a young monk notices you curled beneath the Bodhi tree. Instead of chasing you away, he kneels and offers a bowl of warm milk. You drink. You do not run. He smiles softly and speaks words you do not understand, but they feel like a prayer. May all beings awaken. You begin to follow the sound of chanting more closely. You sit beside the altar, your eyes half closed in quiet reverence. Sometimes, the monks discuss teachings, the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, the impermanence of all things. You do not grasp their meaning as a human might. but you feel the peace beneath the words. You remember your own journey through hunger, pride, suffering, and forgetting, and you sense that this path is the one your soul has sought God at night. When the temple is still, you wander the halls and courtyards. You pause before ancient statues. You trace the patterns of shadows cast by flickering lamps. You think about all the lives you have lived, each birth, each death, each turn of the wheel. You think about the hungry ghost who longed for understanding, the pilgrim who fed thee, forgotten cats, the proud Asura cat learning to rest beside peace, and the David cat who chose to remember suffering. You feel gratitude and a quiet hope. One dawn, as the sun rises behind the snow-capped peaks, a revered Lama visits the monastery. He speaks of the Dharma, of compassion, wisdom, and the rare chance to hear the true teaching. You sit quietly nearby, listening. The Lama's voice is calm and steady. The Dharma is like a precious jewel, hidden deep beneath mountains, rare and difficult to find. Those who hear it with open hearts are truly fortunate. You feel this truth in your bones, but you also know the wheel is not yet broken. Your journey is not complete. You are not yet free. The path is long and winding, and many lifetimes remain. You will still walk the earth, still taste hunger, still know suffering. But now, you carry a seed, planted deep within your heart. That seed is the Dharma, a light that flickers even in darkness, a call to kindness, a promise of awakening Dot. As the Lama finishes his teaching, you stretch and rise. You leap lightly onto a stone. Walled out, you gaze out over the valley below, where rivers wind like silver ribbons, where fields stretch wide and green, where countless beings live, love, and struggle. You do not know what awaits you in your next life, but you know this. Each step you take is part of the path. Each breath is an opportunity, and the Dharma, rare and precious, is a light worth following. The cat who heard the Dharma walks the wheel still, not with fear, not with despair, but with gentle courage. For the true journey is not to escape the wheel, but to walk it with awareness, with compassion, and with hope. You are born once more in a quiet valley, where the mountains cradle fields of golden grain. Your hands are calloused from the earth, your heart restless with the desire for abundance. From the first breath, you know this life will be shaped by the rhythms of nature. Seasons turn slowly, and patience becomes your greatest teacher. The drought comes one summer, an unyielding sun that scorches the soil and cracks. The riverbed dry, crops wither. The villagers whisper fears of famine. Your family looks to you, young but strong, to find hope. But the earth is stubborn, and so must you be. Each morning, before dawn, you rise and walk the parched fields. You listen to the wind. You watch the clouds. You pray silently for rain. Weeks pass. Your fingers learn to feel beneath the surface, searching for hidden moisture, planting seeds in the cracked earth. Knowing not all growth is visible, the village grows restless. Some curse the skies. Others seek quick fixes, but you hold your peace. You tend the earth with care, learning to trust in time's quiet unfolding. One evening, as the sun sets in a sky bruised with purple and gold, you kneel beside a tiny sprout breaking through the dust. Tears fall, not of sorrow, but of gratefulness. You understand at last. Patience is the soil where hope takes root. Dot. And though this life is but one turn of the great wheel, as seeds you sow will nourish many seasons to come. In this life, the farmer learned the grace of waiting, and how kindness to the earth is kindness to the soul. Asterisk, the drought lingers longer than anyone expected. The sun blazes high, relentless and unforgiving. Yet you rise each morning without complaint, your hands tracing the dry earth as if reading a secret language. Neighbors come to you, voices heavy with despair. Will the river ever flow again? Is this the end of the harvest? You do not have answers. Only quiet resolve. Each day you tend the land, your sweat falling like gentle rain upon cracked soil. You find small miracles in the dryness. A stubborn green shoot here, a beetle struggling there. One afternoon, while resting, beneath a lonely walnut tree, you notice a single cloud far on the horizon. Your heart quickens. You watch it slowly drift closer, heavier with promise. When the first drop falls, you catch it on your tongue, savoring its coolness like a blessing. Soon, the sky opens. Rain pours, washing the dust from your skin, and the earth scars. Villagers rejoice. The fields drink deeply. Life begins anew. But the lessons do not end with the rain. That the crops that grow are not the tallest or the fullest. Some are weak, others bear fewer fruits. You learn to accept imperfection, to be grateful for what is, not what could have been. Each evening, you sit outside your small home, watching the stars blink awake. You feel the pulse of life beneath the soil, and the quiet rhythm of time that cannot be hurried. Your thoughts drift to your past lives. The restless Azura cat whose pride burned bright. The hungry ghost whose endless craving consumed him. You realize how different this life feels, not driven by hunger or jealousy, but by a calm endurance that nourishes both earth and spirit. You begin to understand true strength is born not from force, but from patience and kindness. One crisp morning, a traveler passes through your village. He carries a worn book of teachings and stops to watch your fields. You speak little, but he smiles and nods as if recognizing something rare. Before he leaves, he places the book in your hands. May this guide you as your heart guides the earth, he says softly. That night, by candlelight, you open the book. Its pages whisper ancient wisdom about the cycles of life, the turning of the wheel, the law of cause and effect, and the preciousness of each moment. You read slowly, letting the words settle in your mind like seeds. Days turn to months. The harvest comes, modest but sustaining. You gather your neighbors to share the fruits. Laughter fills the air, warm as fresh bread. As you look around at familiar faces, weathered, hopeful, you realize that patience has not only saved the fields but healed the hearts of your community. And deep inside, a gentle seed of awakening begins to sprout. The farmer's journey is a quiet one, but in his patience lies a timeless teaching. That in waiting, in tending, in acceptance, we find the roots of true wisdom. You awaken anew, not in the dusty earth beneath the farmer's feet, but in a realm of endless light and breathless beauty. Here, the sky itself seems alive, a vast, shimmering canvas of blues and golds, painted by unseen hands with delicate grace. You are no longer bound by the soil or the seasons. You float, weightless and free. You are a deva, a celestial being, a god among gods. And you are a cat. Your fur is softer than silk, glowing with a subtle iridescence that shifts like the morning mist. Your eyes are pools of liquid light, reflecting the ever-changing sky. Around you, gardens bloom in eternal spring, flowers whose petals sing when the wind rushes past, trees that bear fruit glowing with an inner radiance. Rivers flow gently through crystal valleys, their waters whispering secrets in a language you almost understand. The air smells of jasmine and wild honey. Soft breezes carry distant laughter. The music of devas dancing through the clouds. But you are not just a cat here. You are a weaver, a crafter of clouds. With each graceful swipe of your paw, you gather vapor from the air, twisting it into shapes and patterns. You weave clouds like silk scarves, threads of white and silver spun across the endless sky. Sometimes, you craft soft pillows for the wind to rest on. Sometimes, wispy veils that hide the sun in playful mystery. Your creations drift and swirl, bringing rain to the thirsty lands below, casting shadows to soothe the earth in summer heat. You take pride in your work. The Devas praise your artistry. You are celebrated. The ease and allure of divine life. Life here is effortless. There is no hunger, no pain, no suffering. You rest on floating lotus leaves, bathed in golden light. Music fills your days. Gentle hum of celestial harps, the soft patter of divine footsteps. Time feels infinite, yet without boredom. You are surrounded by friends and fellow Devas, all radiant and laughing, their joy like a warm breeze that lifts your spirit. Yet beneath this perfection, a subtle restlessness stirs. Asterisk, for in this realm of endless delight, there is a hidden peril. You begin to forget. Forget the taste of cold water from a mountain stream. Forget the ache of hunger that once sharpened your senses. Forget the warmth of a mother's fur beneath a chill night sky. Forget the struggles that shaped your heart. You live in a world where everything is given, where effort is unnecessary, where the wheel of karma seems paused. And so you grow complacent. Asterisk 1. Day. As you weave clouds shaped like dragons and birds, a sudden shadow crosses your path. A tiny figure, not a deva, a visitor from below. A wandering monk, lost in deep meditation, has found his way into this realm. He watches you with quiet eyes, unmoved by the dazzling light, unimpressed by your artistry. He speaks softly. Great Weaver, do you remember the earth? Do you remember the wheel? You pause. The clouds in your pause tremble. For a moment, the veil of forgetfulness thins. Asterisk. The monk's words echo softly around you, carried on a breeze that suddenly feels cooler than before. You blink your luminous eyes, looking down from the radiant skies to the vast earth below. For a moment, you feel the stirrings of a memory, the rough bark of trees, the warmth of a hearth's fire, the laughter and tears of beings bound by birth and death. But just as quickly, the sensation fades, replaced by the dazzling comfort of this realm. Your clouds swirl and twist, forming shapes more intricate and beautiful than ever. Yet beneath the joy, a whisper grows louder. What have I forgotten? Days pass, though time flows differently here. A slow dance of light and shadow. The monk remains nearby, a quiet presence amidst your shimmering kingdom. He speaks little, but when he does, his voice carries the weight of truth. Even here, he says, the wheel turns. Pleasure, when clung to, can bind as tightly as pain. Remember this, Weaver, for forgetting is a form of suffering. You watch the clouds you create, wondering if they are truly yours, or simply echoes of a moment, destined to drift and dissolve. 1. Evening. As golden light bathes the sky, you pause your weaving and descend to a garden of celestial lotus flowers. You sit beneath a tree, its leaves humming softly, and close your eyes. You breathe deeply, feeling the cool air fill your lungs, and reach inward, seeking the forgotten roots of your being. Visions come. A cat curled in a temple courtyard, a hungry ghost's desperate longing, a farmer's patient hands in cracked earth. You realize that these past lives are not burdens, but the soil from which your true self grows. A gentle rain begins to fall, not the rain you weave, but one that seems to wash away layers of illusion. You feel a tear roll down your cheek, not born of sorrow, but of awakening. The monk smiles, and you understand. This is the beginning of remembering. The days that follow are filled with subtle change. You weave clouds less for show, more for purpose. You listen more than you speak. You begin to question the ease of your existence and seek a deeper meaning beyond beauty and praise. Though the realm remains radiant, you no longer feel trapped by its perfection. Instead, you see it as a garden, a place to learn, to grow, before the journey continues. The celestial weaver learned that even in paradise, Forgetting the truth is the greatest sorrow, but awakening begins with a single breath, a moment of stillness amid endless delight. Asterisk. Days flow like rivers of light through this shimmering realm. You glide effortlessly, weaving clouds that dance like whispers across the sky. Yet beneath the surface of your celestial artistry, an unfamiliar feeling grows, a gentle stirring of restlessness. One afternoon, while shaping clouds into delicate lotus petals, you catch sight of a small figure wandering below. A humble monk wrapped in a simple robe, his face serene despite the world's burdens. Curiosity draws you closer. He does not notice you at first, immersed in his own silent prayers. You watch as he folds his hands, bowing deeply before a simple shrine. His presence feels grounded, real, unlike the ethereal glow surrounding you. The monk looks up, meeting your gaze with a calm smile. You weave beauty from nothingness, he says softly. But what sustains you when the clouds disperse? His words linger in the air, like a question that unfolds slowly in your mind. You realize all your creations, as breathtaking as they are fleeting, destined to dissolve not. Is there meaning beyond this transient elegance? That evening, you sit beneath a tree whose leaves shimmer like molten silver. The monk joins you in silence, offering a simple cup of warm tea. Together, you watch the stars emerge, one by one, in the deepening twilight. You live where suffering is unknown, he murmurs. But without knowing suffering, how can joy be true? Without shadows, can light have meaning? You reflect on his words, feeling a subtle shift within. The ease and pleasure of your life begin to feel fragile, like a delicate web that might unravel with the slightest breeze. Over the following days, the monk shares teachings from the Dharma about impermanence, compassion, and the path to awakening. You listen intently, sensing that these truths are keys to a door you've long forgotten. Though you remain a being of light and beauty, your heart grows heavier with the knowledge of what lies beyond this realm. You begin to weave clouds not just for display, but to nurture and shelter those who suffer below. Your work takes on new purpose, a silent vow to remember, to care, and to prepare for the next journey. One morning, as the first light breaks over the horizon, you feel a gentle pull, a call to return. The monk smiles knowingly. Remember this place, Weaver. Carry its light, but do not lose sight of the earth below. You nod, feeling gratitude and resolve. Though the Deva realm offers splendor beyond imagining, you understand now that true awakening lies not in forgetting suffering, but in embracing it with open eyes and a compassionate heart. The celestial weaver of clouds chose to awaken, to carry light beyond the heavens, and to remember the path back home. Asterisk. You awaken in darkness, not the soft night of the human world, but a deep, endless shadow that wraps around your very being. You are no longer the radiant weaver of clouds, no longer the calm farmer or the proud temple cat. You are a hungry ghost, a spirit trapped in insatiable craving, a shadow flickering at the edge of light. Your throat burns with thirst that no water can quench. Your stomach gnaws with hunger that no food can satisfy. Your hands reach, grasp, but find only emptiness. Around you, others like you wander, whispers of sorrow and longing, faces blurred and fading, voices raised in desperate, silent screams. Long ago, you sowed seeds of greed and attachment. In chasing pleasure and clinging to fleeting joys, you wove chains that bind you now in this spectral realm. Your heart, once warm and open, now trembles with endless desire. Yet even in this abyss, a faint light flickers within, a memory of kindness once shown, a forgotten moment of generosity. You reach for it, a whisper, a shadow, and it pushes you forward, urging you to seek release. In this realm, Time is a cruel river that flows backward and forward at once. You relive your longing, your regrets, your moments of turning away from compassion. Faces from past lives appear. The farmer whose patience faltered, the proud Asura cat blinded by jealousy, the celestial weaver who forgot suffering. You feel their echoes in your bones, but you also see a glimmer of hope, the monk's teachings, the sacred Dharma, a path that can break these chains. Slowly, you begin to understand that craving is the root of suffering, and that letting go is the only way home. You close your eyes and breathe. You remember the warmth of a touch, the gentle kindness of a shared meal, the simple joy of a moment given freely. With each breath, the shadows lift a little. The weight upon your chest eases. In the distance, a soft light beckons, a faint glow growing stronger with each step you take. You reach out, trembling, and find yourself drawn toward a doorway of compassion. You do not yet cross fully, but you know the journey back has begun. The whispering shadow learns. Even in the darkest hunger, the seed of compassion remains. And the path to freedom begins with a single breath. Asterisk, you awaken into darkness. Yet it is not the familiar night of your human or celestial lives. It is a darkness that presses close, a heavy shadow that seeps into your bones. The air is thick and stale, as if time itself has stopped breathing. You open your eyes, but there is no light, only a hazy gloom stretching infinitely around you. You try to move, but your limbs feel insubstantial, like smoke in a chill wind. You are no longer the proud cat weaving clouds in the Deva realm, nor the patient farmer tending fields. You have become a hungry ghost, a being trapped between worlds, consumed by endless craving and despair. Your throat burns with a thirst so fierce, it feels like fire inside your chest. You open your mouth to drink, but find nothing. No water, no nectar, no relief. Your stomach twists painfully, gnawing at itself with hunger that cannot be satisfied. You reach out with ghostly hands, seeking food, comfort, or even a kind touch. But all you grasp is emptiness. Around you, other shadows. Wonder, pale, translucent, their faces blurred and fading, their voices rising in desperate, wordless pleas. They drift past, invisible to those in worlds of light and life, unseen and unheard except by each other. You try to call out, to scream, but your voice is lost in the darkness, a whisper on the wind that no one catches. Long ago, in lives now, distant and dim, you sowed the seeds of this suffering. You chased pleasure without thought for others. You clung to fleeting joys, grasping tightly to possessions, status, or desires. You turned away from compassion and generosity. Now, you pay the price in this realm of insatiable craving, where every desire births 10 more, and satisfaction is a cruel illusion just out of reach. You wander endlessly, a prisoner of your own. Past, no matter how far you move, the hunger follows. No matter how much you long, the emptiness remains. Yet even in this endless night, there flickers a small, fragile light, a memory of kindness once shown, a moment of generosity, a spark of compassion. It is faint, barely more than a whisper, but it calls to you from deep within. You reach for it desperately, like a drowning soul grasping for a lifeline. The light grows stronger as you focus, pushing back the shadows, reminding you of what you once were, a cat who loved, a being who cared. Time here is strange. It stretches and folds, flowing backward and forward at once. You relive your mistakes, your regrets, your failures to love and forgive. You see faces from past lives, the farmer who lost patience, the proud Asura cat blinded by jealousy, the weaver of clouds who forgot suffering. You feel their pain as your own. You long to break free, to end this hunger and thirst, to find peace. You close your eyes and breathe deeply, as you once did beneath the walnut tree in your former life. You remember warmth, the gentle touch of a friend, the soft fur of a companion, the smile of a stranger. Each breath softens the ache inside. Each memory lights a small path through the darkness. A distant glow appears on the horizon, faint and flickering like a candle in the wind. It grows steadily, filling you with hope and fear all at once. You reach toward it, trembling, your shadowy hands yearning for release. You know the path ahead is long and uncertain. But for the first time in what feels like eternity, you take a step forward. Asterisk, the faint light ahead grows brighter, a soft glow breaking through the heavy shadows. It beckons you like a distant star, guiding a lost traveler home. You move slowly, your form wavering like mist in the morning sun. Every step is effortful, weighed down by the memories and cravings you carry. Yet the light offers something you have long forgotten. A promise of peace. As you approach, the glow reveals itself as a circle of warm, golden fire, flickering gently. Not a destructive blaze, but a fire of transformation and hope. Around the fire sit ancient beings, monks wrapped in humble robes, faces serene and eyes shining with compassion. Their voices rise in a quiet chant, a melody both soothing and powerful, filling the space with vibrations that seem to touch the very core of your being. You listen, unable to speak, but feeling your heart resonate with the rhythm. One monk rises and steps toward you. He holds out a simple bowl filled with cool, clear water. "This is the water of mindfulness," he says softly. "Drink and awaken to the present moment." You reach toward the bowl, your trembling hands dipping into the water. As the cool liquid touches your lips, a wave of clarity washes over you. The firelight dances in your eyes as memories begin to shift, no longer chains of suffering, but lessons to be embraced. You see your past lives with new eyes, the greed, the clinging, the pain, all threads in a vast tapestry of cause and effect. The monk continues, his voice calm and steady. Craving binds you to this realm, but understanding and compassion can free you. He gestures to the others, who join hands and bow. You feel their kindness like a balm upon your weary soul. In this moment, the shadow that once swallowed you begins to recede. The endless hunger softens into a gentle yearning for peace. You realize the path ahead is one of letting go, not of all desires, but of those that cause suffering. The journey back to light is not swift or easy. It is a slow unfolding of wisdom and compassion. Breath by breath, step by step, the fire's warmth seeps into your form. You feel yourself becoming lighter, more present. For the first time in what seems like an eternity, you close your eyes and rest, not in despair, but in hope. The whispering shadow has begun to listen to the voice of compassion and the call to awakening. Asterisk, with the monk's gentle guidance, you begin to walk a narrow path, one that winds through twilight, shadows and faint, shimmering lights. Each step is fragile, yet filled with growing strength. You no longer seek to fill the endless void within. Instead, you learn to observe it, to hold it with kindness, and to offer yourself the compassion you once denied. The voices of others hungry. Ghosts rise around you, some still lost in craving, others beginning to awaken like you. You realize you are not alone, that even in this realm of hunger and longing, there is community, there is hope. Slowly, the heavy chains of desire begin to loosen. You remember the farmer's patience, the Deva's awakening, the temple cat's quiet vigilance. These threads weave through your being, reminding you that this is but one chapter of your long journey. You open your eyes to the soft glow of dawn, breaking through the shadows, a new beginning shimmering on the horizon. The monk's voice lingers in your mind. Craving is the root of suffering, but compassion is the path to freedom. You bow your head in gratitude. Though the path ahead is uncertain, you carry a light within you now, a light born of understanding, of acceptance, of love. The whispering shadow begins to step beyond hunger, toward healing, toward awakening, toward the turning of the wheel. Asterisk. You awaken again, but this time not as a human, nor a radiant being of light, nor a restless spirit, but as a mountain dog, strong and steady, born into a world of stone and pine. Your coat is thick and rugged, mottled with earth tones that blend into the rocky slopes where you roam. Your breath clouds in the crisp morning air. The scent of pine needles, damp earth, and distant wildflowers fills your nostrils. You open your eyes to a landscape carved by time. Towering peaks dusted, with snow rushing streams tumbling over smooth stones, and forests that whisper ancient secrets. Your paws touch the rough ground with ease. You are built for endurance, for vigilance. Here, in this high mountain home, life is simple yet demanding. From dawn until dusk, you patrol your territory, a narrow path along the cliffs where the wind bites sharp and clear. Your keen senses detect every rustle in the underbrush, every shift of shadow. You are a guardian, not of temples or cities, but of the silent wilderness that stretches beyond. Though your days are filled with purpose, you are not alone. A small village nestles in the valley below, its people humble and hardworking. They know you well, a loyal companion who watches silently from the edge of the trees, who barks softly when strangers approach, who curls up by the hearth on cold nights, accepted as one of their own. Yet you remember the lives you once lived. You recall the farmer who learned patience in this cracked earth. You remember the deva who wove clouds with careless ease. You remember the hungry ghost yearning for release. These memories do not confuse you. They are like threads woven into the fabric of your being, a silent song beneath your steady heartbeat. 1. Morning, as the sun spills gold across the valley, you find a child wandering near the river's edge, eyes wide with wonder, but feet unsure. You approach slowly, tail low and gentle. The child looks up and smiles, reaching out a small hand. You nuzzle the palm with your nose, warmth spreading through your chest. In this simple moment, you understand the power of silent companionship, the gift of presence without words, of loyalty without conditions. Days turn to weeks, the seasons change. Wildflowers bloom and fade, snow blankets the peaks, and the wind carries the scent of distant rains. Through it all, you remain steady, watchful, faithful. You guard the village not with ferocity, but with quiet love. In the stillness of night, when the stars blaze cold and distant above, you lie beneath the great fir trees, feeling the heartbeat of the earth beneath your paws. You reflect on your journey, the many forms you have taken, the lessons learned in each life. And you know this, even without words, your loyalty and love are a form of wisdom. The loyal mountain dog teaches us that true guardianship is born of presence and heart, and that even in silence, love can shine brighter than words. The days grow shorter as autumn's breath cools the mountain air. Golden leaves flutter like silent prayers, drifting from tall firs and maples. Your coat thickens, preparing for the coming winter's chill. You roam the ridges with quiet purpose, senses alert yet calm. Your eyes follow the flight of a distant eagle, its wings slicing the wind with effortless grace. You hear the soft murmur of the village below, faint as a lullaby. Though you cannot speak, you understand the language of the land, the rhythm of seasons, the pulse of living things, the deep connection that binds all beings, seen and unseen. One afternoon, you find the child again, now braver and sure-footed. They run toward you with open arms, laughter spilling like sunlight. You catch their small hands gently between your jaws, careful not to harm the villagers. Watch with warm smiles, grateful for your steadfast presence. You are their guardian and friend, a living bridge between the wild and the human heart. As cold winds begin to stir, you sense the cycle of life turning once more. Your spirit recalls lives long past, the restless Asura cat consumed by envy, the hungry ghost haunted by unfulfilled desire, the farmer who learned to wait. You realize how each form taught a lesson, each realm a step on the path toward awakening. Now, as the loyal dog beneath endless skies, you learn the quiet power of faithfulness and unconditional love. In the stillness of a winter night, snow blankets the earth in silence. You curl beside the hearth in the village home, warmth seeping into your bones. Outside, stars glitter like distant fires, and the world feels vast, mysterious, and full of promise. Your breath rises in soft clouds, and you rest, knowing that this life, too, is a gift, a chapter in the endless turning of the wheel. The loyal mountain dog reminds us that true loyalty is a quiet strength, and that love without words can heal and protect. Asterisk, you awaken once again in the form of a human, a humble teacher in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests. Your hands are warm but steady, your eyes patient and kind. The world here is simple, yet complex in its quiet demands. Children gather at your feet each morning, their curious faces filled with wonder and questions. They look to you not just for knowledge, but for understanding, for someone who listens deeply and holds their stories with care. Your voice is soft but steady, a gentle current guiding their thoughts. You teach not just facts, but the art of listening, to the silence between words, to the unspoken needs of the heart, to the rhythms of nature and the wisdom they hold. In this life, you learn that sometimes the greatest gift is not speaking, but truly hearing. The seasons change as the years pass. You watch your students grow, their paths branching out like the roots of ancient trees. You celebrate their successes quietly and offer steady support through their struggles. Each day brings new lessons, not only for them, but for you. You learn patience, compassion, and the humility to accept that you do not hold all answers. In listening, you find connection, a shared human thread weaving through joy and sorrow. At night, beneath a sky sprinkled with stars, you reflect on your past lives, the mountain dog's quiet loyalty, the hungry ghost's yearning, the celestial weaver's awakening. You realize that this life is a sacred opportunity to heal old wounds, to transform restlessness into peace, to sow seeds of kindness that will bloom far beyond your own days. The teacher who listened teaches us that healing begins with presence, and that every heart holds its own story, waiting to be heard. You awaken once more, this time bathed in the purest light you have ever known. Not the harsh glare of the sun, nor the cold shimmer of the stars, but a soft, radiant glow that seems to pulse with life itself. You are a deva again, but not merely a weaver of clouds as before. Now you are the dancing light, a being of movement and joy, a spark that flickers and flows through the endless sky. Your form is graceful, fluid, shifting between shapes and colors like a flame caught in a gentle breeze. Your fur shimmers with hues of gold, silver, and sapphire, and your eyes reflect the endless dance of the cosmos. Around you, the Deva realm stretches in all directions, a boundless expanse of light, sound, and color that sings with the harmony of existence. As the dancing light, your purpose is to move, to create rhythm, to weave joy into the very fabric of this celestial world. You leap and twirl across the skies, leaving trails of luminescence that ripple like waves. Your dance is a celebration of life's eternal flow, a symphony without words, a story told through motion. The other Devas watch and join, their laughter like chimes carried on a warm breeze. Yet beneath this joyous surface lies a deeper lesson, that true freedom is found not in endless pleasure or distraction, but in the balance between movement and stillness, between expression and quiet reflection. One evening, as the light softens into twilight, you pause on a shimmering cloud and gaze down upon the worlds below. That you see the cycles of life unfolding. The farmer's patient toil, the hungry ghost's yearning, the loyal dog's watchful presence. You sense their joys and sorrows, their struggles and awakenings. A voice calls softly from the depths of your being, a reminder of the impermanence of all things. You realize that the dance is not just celebration, but a form of mindfulness, a way to honor the fleeting beauty of each moment dot with renewed grace. You rise once more, ready to dance the eternal dance of light and shadow. The dancing light moves with joy and awareness, reminding us that life's beauty is found in the balance of motion and stillness. Asterisk as dawn breaks over the luminous horizon, your form begins to shimmer and pulse with renewed energy. Each movement you make sends ripples of light cascading through the endless skies, painting the heavens with trails of iridescence. You leap gracefully between star clusters, twirling like a flame caught on a gentle breeze. The dance is ancient, older than time itself. It is the rhythm of creation, the heartbeat of existence. With every step, you feel the pulse of the cosmos vibrating through your being. Around you, fellow devas gather, their own lights weaving and intertwining with yours. Together, you form a celestial symphony, a vibrant tapestry of energy and joy. But the dance is not without its deeper meaning. You remember your past lives, the farmer who learned patience, the hungry ghost who yearned endlessly, the loyal mountain dog whose love was silent but steadfast. You understand now that this dance is more than celebration. It is a meditation on impermanence, a mindful embrace of change. Suddenly, the rhythm shifts. The bright hues of your light dim and blend with softer shades of violet and blue. The dance slows, inviting stillness amid movement. In this moment of pause, you gaze downward, seeing the world's endless cycles play out below. You witness the delicate balance of joy and sorrow, growth and decay. Your heart swells with compassion for all beings caught in this vast web of existence. A gentle voice whispers from within. To dance fully, you must honor both light and shadow, movement and rest, joy and sorrow. In balance, true freedom is found. You bow your head, feeling a serene acceptance settle over you. The dance resumes, now with a new grace. Each step deliberate, each gesture infused with meaning. You are no longer just a spark of light, but a beacon of mindful joy, guiding others to find beauty in the present moment. The dancing light teaches us that true joy arises from embracing life's rhythms, and that balance between movement and stillness is the path to awakening. Asterisk, as your luminous form dances across the endless sky, the energy within you shifts, subtly flowing from exhilaration to quiet contemplation. Each movement is a whisper of eternity, a fleeting moment captured in the eternal flow. You feel your essence intertwining with the cosmos, a thread woven through the grand tapestry of existence. Below you, the worlds hum with life, the gentle stirrings of human hearts, the quiet breaths of animals resting under stars, the lingering shadows of restless spirits seeking peace. Your dance becomes a silent prayer, a blessing carried on the wind, touching every being with the warmth of light and the softness of understanding. The other devas pause their own dances and gather around. You, their forms glowing with curiosity and reverence. One steps forward, a radiant figure whose eyes hold the depth of ages. She smiles gently and speaks without words, her presence conveying a message beyond sound. The dance is never just for oneself. It is for all who watch and listen, for all who walk the path of life beneath the heavens. You bow your head in gratitude, feeling the profound truth of her message settle in your heart. The dance resumes, now joined by a chorus of celestial lights swirling and spiraling in harmony. Together, you create patterns of luminous beauty, shapes that mirror the cycles of the moon, the bloom of 1,000 flowers, the rising and falling of the tides. Each step is mindful, each gesture a meditation. The dance teaches patience, presence, and the grace of acceptance. You feel a gentle peace blossoming within you, a stillness wrapped in motion. Suddenly, a soft breeze carries a faint scent, earthy, warm, and familiar. It reminds you of your time as the loyal mountain dog, the quiet strength of the farmer, the yearning of the hungry ghost seeking release. The scent grounds you, bringing a wave of compassion and humility. You realize that your dance is not separate from those lives, but a continuation, a bridge between the realms, a light that reaches across the cycles of birth and death. With renewed purpose, you shift your dance into slower, flowing movements, ripples of light that drift like silk across the heavens. You sense the presence of others watching from below, their hearts touched by the delicate beauty you create. Your dance becomes a gift, a reminder that even in change and impermanence, there is a radiant joy waiting to be discovered. The dancing light reveals that life's true beauty is found in the mindful embrace of change, and that every movement, every stillness, carries the potential for awakening. As your dance flows onward, the vast expanse of the Deva realm begins to shimmer with a new kind of light, softer, more delicate. It is the glow of awareness awakening within, a quiet wisdom blossoming alongside your joyful movement. You feel yourself drawn toward a tranquil lake that reflects the heavens. Above, a mirror of infinite depth and clarity. As you approach, your luminous form ripples gently with the soft breeze. You kneel beside the water's edge, peering into the depths and seeing not just your own radiant reflection, but the countless lives and experiences that have shaped your journey. Each ripple tells a story of laughter and tears, of loss and renewal, of learning and letting go. You close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing the cool air to fill you with peace. The dance, you realize, is more than movement. It is a dialogue, a conversation between light and shadow, between the eternal and the fleeting. The devas around you pause their own rhythms and gather silently, their presence a warm embrace. Together, you sit beside the lake in shared stillness, feeling the quiet pulse of existence beneath the surface of all things. In this stillness, a gentle voice rises within your heart, a voice that speaks not in words, but in knowing. The true dance is the dance of awareness, the delicate balance of being fully present, yet open to change and growth. You feel gratitude for this insight, a seed planted deep within. Slowly, your dance resumes, no longer a wild, flickering flame, but a steady, glowing light that flows with grace and intention. You spiral upward, weaving patterns of harmony and peace, your movements carrying the essence of compassion and understanding. From this height, you gaze down upon the worlds you have touched, each life a thread in the vast, intricate web of existence. And as your dance continues, you realize freedom is found not in escaping the cycles of life, but in embracing them with an open heart, dancing with the light and shadow alike. The dancing light teaches us that the path to awakening is a dance of awareness, a graceful embrace of impermanence and compassion. You awaken in unbearable heat. A scorching flame surrounds you, licking at your skin with tongues of fire that never waver or fade. The air is thick with smoke and the scent of burning earth. You try to move, but every step is agony, every breath a struggle. You are no longer the gentle dancer of light, the loyal guardian, or the patient teacher. You have entered the hell realm, a place of suffering born from the darkest deeds and deepest regrets. Here, time drags like molten lava, slow and relentless. The sky above is a choking haze of red and black, and the ground beneath your feet is cracked and blistered, splitting open to reveal endless pits of flame. Pain is your constant companion. Not just physical, but the burning sting of remorse, the crushing weight of guilt. You see other beings nearby, their faces twisted in torment, their bodies marked by their misdeeds. Yet amid the fire and ash, you glimpse something more, a flicker of hope, a whisper of truth. You remember the lives you lived before, the farmer's patience, the mountain dog's loyalty, the hungry ghost's craving, the radiant dance of the devas. You see now how your actions in those lives sowed the seeds of this suffering. Each moment of anger, greed, or cruelty added fuel to this endless fire. But the flame that burns without end is not only punishment. It is a powerful teacher, a fierce mirror reflecting the deepest parts of yourself, urging you to awaken. You close your eyes and breathe deeply despite the searing heat. You summon the memories of compassion from your past lives, the gentle presence of the monk's teachings, and the quiet strength of the loyal dog. The fire begins to change, from a consuming blaze to a purifying light. It burns away the layers of ignorance, hatred, and delusion, revealing the radiant essence beneath. The flame that burns without end is both trial and transformation, a fiery crucible where the soul is forged anew. The scorching heat envelops you like a relentless wave, yet within this torment, you begin to notice subtle shifts. The fire's rage, once sharp and punishing, now feels like a cleansing fire, burning away the darkness clinging to your spirit. Around you, the other souls writhe and scream, trapped by their own pain and regret. You see their anguish reflected. In your own eyes, a mirror of the suffering caused by unchecked anger, greed, and hatred. But unlike them, you find within yourself a flicker of calm, a quiet center amid the chaos. You recall the farmer's patience in the face of hardship, the loyal dog's steadfast love, the deva's mindful dance of light and shadow. The flames begin to part before you, revealing a path lined with embers glowing softly like dying stars. Each step you take on this fiery trail is an act of courage, a choice to face the pain rather than flee from it. God, you remember the monk's words, whispered across lifetimes. To know true freedom, one must first walk through the fire of one's own making. You breathe deeply, the heat searing but your will steady. With each exhale, you release a little of the anger and fear that once consumed you. With each inhale, you draw in a faint but growing light, the promise of transformation. Ahead, the path leads to a vast pool of molten gold, shimmering with an otherworldly glow. This is the pool of reflection, where souls confront the truth of their actions and awaken to the possibility of change. You step into the golden light, and images arise on the surface like living memories, moments from your past lives, choices made, kindnesses given, harms done. You see the farmer's quiet perseverance, the hungry ghost's endless longing, the loyal dog's faithful presence, the deva's joyful dance. Each memory teaches you more about cause and effect, about how each action plants seeds that bloom across lifetime's dot. As you gaze deeper into this pool of reflection, you feel the fire's heat transform into a warm embrace. The suffering you endure is not endless. It is a passage, a purification, a step toward awakening. You know the journey is far from over, but for the first time in this realm of flame and shadow, you feel a flicker of hope. The flame that burns without end is not merely punishment. It is the forge where awakening begins, and the path back to light. Asterisk. The golden light of the pool of reflection wraps around you like a gentle cloak, soothing the raw edges scorched by the relentless fire. You stand there, silent, as memories rise and fall like waves, each one a lesson etched deep into the fabric of your being. You see clearly now. Every act of anger, every moment of greed, every harsh word spoken, every cruel thought nurtured, has fed the flames that once consumed you. Yet intertwined with these shadows, you also witness acts of kindness, small, quiet moments where light pierced the darkness. A smile shared, a hand extended, a breath taken with compassion. You step back from the pool, the reflections lingering in your mind like a sacred chant. Around you, the hellfire begins to shift and soften, no longer an unyielding inferno, but a warm radiance that breathes life and possibility. The voices of other souls nearby grow softer, their screams turning into whispers of regret, and then into murmurs of hope. A figure approaches, the same monk you met in other lives, calm and radiant, eyes filled with infinite compassion. He offers you a simple lotus flower, glowing with a soft, pure light. This flower, he says gently, is a symbol of transformation. From the mud and mire, it rises untainted and beautiful. So too can your soul emerge from suffering, cleansed and free. You accept the lotus with trembling hands, feeling its warmth seep into your very core. The monk smiles, then speaks softly, "Remember, the fire will test you again, but each time you endure with understanding, the flames will purify, rather than burn." You nod, feeling courage bloom where once only fear lived. You take a deep breath and step forward, ready to face the next trial, not with dread, but with newfound wisdom and hope. The flame that burns without end guides us, that even in the deepest suffering, transformation and liberation are possible through courage and compassion. The fire around you now feels less like torment and more like a forge shaping, refining, purifying. Each step forward is a lesson in patience and acceptance. You remember the many lives before, the patient farmer who tilled the earth, the loyal mountain dog who guarded without words, the deva who danced with light and shadow. Each life was a thread in the tapestry of your existence, each choice weaving patterns of karma, both light and dark. You look around and see other beings, walking their own paths through the flames. Some stumble, overcome by fear and anger. Others walk with steady calm, embracing the fire's lesson. You realize that this realm is not a place of eternal punishment, but a space of transformation, a threshold to deeper understanding. The monk appears again, this time leading a group of souls emerging from the fire, their faces peaceful, their steps light. He gestures for you to follow, his presence a beacon of hope dot together. You walk through the last of the flames, feeling the heat fade and cool air fill your lungs. Ahead lies a vast open field bathed in soft golden light, a new realm waiting to welcome you, offering rest, healing, and renewal. You step forward, heart open, ready for the next chapter of your journey. The flame that burns without end is the crucible of awakening, where suffering gives way to wisdom, and the soul prepares to rise anew. You awaken again, but this time your form is neither fully present nor entirely absent. You are a ghost, a silent wanderer drifting between worlds, unseen by most, unheard by many. Your essence is thin, translucent like morning mist over a quiet lake. The air around you carries the faint scent of forgotten memories and distant echoes. You move slowly, gliding through shadowed forests and abandoned homes, places where the veil between life and death thins. The world of the living bustles below. Voices, laughter, pain, joy. Yet you remain separate, a watcher on the edge of reality. You long to speak, to touch, to be acknowledged, but your presence is a whisper lost in the wind dot. This realm is a place of unfinished business and unanswered questions. You carry regrets like heavy chains, memories of lives unlived, words left unsaid, deeds undone. As you wander, you sense the causes that led you here, attachments to people and places, unresolved emotions tangled in the fabric of your being. You remember past lives as the patient farmer, the loyal dog, the radiant deva, the burning soul in hellfire. Each one a step on a long journey, each one a lesson whispered on the winds of time. You see others like yourself, silent figures drifting aimlessly, lost in sorrow, anger, or longing. But among them, a faint light glimmers, a spark of hope, a gentle invitation to release, to forgiveness, to peace. You follow the light through moonlit woods and misty fields. Its glow softens the shadows, and you begin to understand that this realm, too, is a passage, not a prison. You begin to let go of fears, of regrets, of the heavy weight of clinging. With each breath, you grow lighter, more free. You find moments of stillness, quiet spaces where the heart can rest. The silent wanderer reminds us that holding on to the past binds us, but releasing is the first step toward freedom. The gentle glow leads you deeper into the quiet realm, where shadows soften and the air hums with a peaceful stillness. Your ethereal form drifts effortlessly, unburdened by the weight of sorrow you once carried. You sense the presence of others walking beside you, lost souls finding the courage to release old wounds, to forgive themselves and those they left behind. The silence here is not loneliness, but a sacred space, a moment suspended between what was and what can be. Memories rise like faint whispers, echoes of your past lives blending with this present moment. You recall the loyal mountain, dog's silent devotion, the Deva's joyful dance of light, the burning flames that purified your soul. Each memory is a thread woven into the tapestry of your journey, a reminder that no life, no suffering is wasted. You pause beside a still lake, its surface smooth as glass. In the reflection, you see not just your ghostly form, but the myriad faces of those you have been. Human, animal, spirit. You reach out, fingers touching the water, and ripples spread outward, dissolving the image into shimmering light. With each ripple, a gentle release takes place within you. The chains of attachment loosen, the shadows grow faint, and a quiet hope blossoms, fragile yet radiant. You understand now that this realm is a place of healing, a bridge between worlds where transformation begins. As dawn's first light brushes the horizon, you glide toward it, drawn by a promise of peace and renewal. You know your journey is far from over, but with each step forward, you embrace the possibility of awakening. The silent wanderer teaches us that freedom begins when we release what no longer serves us and open ourselves to the light ahead. Asterisk, the light ahead grows warmer, a gentle invitation guiding you beyond the mist and shadows you move toward it with growing clarity, each step lighter than the last around you. The whispering voices of other silent wanderers mingle with your own thoughts, reminders of shared struggles and collective hope. Though invisible to most, you sense that your presence matters, a quiet thread in the vast fabric of existence. In this place between worlds, you begin to understand the power of forgiveness. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself for the moments you fell short, for the times you chose fear over love. You remember the farmer's patience, the mountain dog's unwavering loyalty, the Deva's graceful dance, each life a lesson. In compassion and resilience, you reach a clearing bathed in soft golden light. Here, the shadows retreat, and the air feels filled with possibility. You pause, closing your eyes, and breathe deeply. With each breath, you release another weight. Anger, regret, doubt. With each inhale, you invite peace, acceptance, love. You feel your form grow brighter, more solid, more alive. The veil between your spirit and the living world thins. You are ready to move forward, to continue the journey beyond the ghost realm. The silent wanderer shows us that by releasing the past, we open the door to a new beginning. Asterisk, as you step forward from the clearing, the mists begin to lift, revealing a path bathed in soft morning light. Your form, once translucent and fragile, grows steadier with each step, as if the very act of releasing weighs you no longer. You feel a gentle warmth spreading through your being, the promise of renewal, the subtle invitation to move beyond. Lingering sorrow. Around you, the silent wanderers begin to follow, their own forms brightening in the glow of hope. Together, you move toward the horizon, a collective wave of transformation and awakening. Along the way, you recall the lessons from past lives, the patient perseverance of the farmer who sowed seeds in uncertain soil, the loyal devotion of the mountain dog standing guard through cold nights, the joyous dance of the deva weaving light through shadow. Each memory grounds you, a reminder that the soul's journey is long and every step is sacred. You come upon a still pond, its surface reflecting the sky's awakening colors. Kneeling, you peer into the water, seeing not only your reflection, but the countless lives and forms you have inhabited. You smile softly, recognizing the eternal thread of your being, unbroken by time, unscarred by suffering. A gentle breeze stirs the surface, scattering your reflection into dancing ripples. You rise feeling lighter, freer, ready to continue your path, carrying the wisdom of the silent wanderer deep within your heart. The silent wanderer teaches us that healing comes through release and that every ending is a doorway to a new beginning. The cat's journey continues through the realms of gods and humans, hungry ghosts and beasts, through hellfires and the fierce battlegrounds of the Asuras. 20 lives and more have passed, each one a thread woven into the vast fabric of karma. Yet the cycle is unbroken. The cat still wanders in samsara, caught in the wheel of birth and death, suffering without end. In this moment of reflection, the cat rests beneath a Bodhi tree, leaves whispering ancient truths in the wind out here. The teachings of the Diamond Sutra rise in the mind like a clear bell, ringing through the silence. Thus shall you think of all this fleeting world: a star at dawn, a bubble in a stream, a flash of lightning in a summer cloud, a flickering lamp, a phantom, and a dream. The cat listens, feeling the depth of these words, understanding the emptiness that underlies all forms. The Diamond Sutra teaches the nature of reality beyond appearances, that all things are transient, without inherent self. To cling to the ego, to desire, to hatred, is to bind oneself tighter in suffering. All conditioned phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow, like dew or a flash of lightning. Thus we shall perceive them. With each breath, the cat contemplates the truth of impermanence and emptiness, the suffering of the six. Realms arises from ignorance and attachment, from the seeds of karma sown by actions of greed, hatred, and delusion. To break free, one must abandon evil deeds and cultivate the path of goodness. The sutra's words echo like a mantra. Therefore, monks, let no one cultivate a notion of a self, a person, a being, or a soul. The cat feels the great silence beyond all concepts, the spaciousness where liberation begins. Yet, the journey is not easy. The cat still turns in the wheel of samsara, unable to find final release. But in hearing the Dharma, the cat finds a glimmer of hope, a precious rare moment of awakening. The Diamond Sutra warns, those who have attained the Buddha way should not grasp at form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or dharmas. To cling even to the teachings is to remain bound. True freedom arises only when all grasping ends, when the heart lets go of all notions, even those of enlightenment. The cat bows deeply, understanding that the path is long, arduous, and requires unwavering effort. Yet it is also filled with compassion for all beings caught in suffering, for all who stumble and fall on the way. All beings are the children of the Buddha, and all who seek liberation must walk the path of wisdom and compassion. The cat's eyes gleam with a quiet resolve, a promise to continue listening, practicing, and awakening, even if liberation remains distant. Asterisk, thus have I heard. At one time, the Buddha was staying in the Jeta Grove, together with a great assembly of monks and bodhisattvas. At that time, the Venerable Subhuti approached the Buddha and said, "World-honored one, how should a bodhisattva cultivate the mind? How should he live the life of a bodhisattva?" The Buddha said, "A bodhisattva should produce a mind that does not abide anywhere. When the mind is not established in anything, the bodhisattva can fully liberate all beings. Therefore, monks, you should rid yourselves of all notions of self, of being, of soul. You should know that all dharmas are like a dream, a phantom, a bubble. One should not depend on forms, sounds, smells, tastes, touches, or dharmas. If one does depend on them, one is not a true bodhisattva. Those who see the non-arising of all dharmas attain the Buddha way and enter the path of perfect wisdom." Subhuti, if a person says he has understood this teaching, he does not cling to any notion of a self or phenomena. Thus the bodhisattva frees all beings without attachment to them. This is called highest perfection of wisdom. The cat meditates on these words, feeling the vastness of emptiness and the tenderness of compassion intertwined. The endless cycle of birth and death continues, but within the heart. A seed of awakening has been planted, a warning for all who listen. The 6 realms are full of suffering. Rebirth is a painful wheel that turns without end. For those who cling to ignorance not to cease this suffering, one must turn toward the Dharma, renounce evil, cultivate goodness, and awaken to the truth of emptiness. The path is narrow and difficult, but the reward is beyond measure: freedom from suffering, peace beyond all words. The cat rises beneath the Bodhi tree and looks toward the horizon. The journey continues, but now with the light of wisdom guiding every step. Beneath the vast Bodhi tree, the cat sits quietly, its eyes reflecting the soft flicker of twilight. The breeze carries whispers of ancient teachings, inviting the heart to open wider still. The Diamond Sutra teaches that all phenomena are empty, without self, without essence, beyond grasp or conception. This emptiness is not a void of despair, but the fertile ground from which true freedom arises. The cat contemplates the delicate balance between form and emptiness, between suffering and liberation. It sees the 6 realms like petals on a cosmic lotus, each one turning in the endless cycle of samsara. Yet beneath the surface, the lotus remains untouched, pure. All conditioned things are like a dream, a phantom, a bubble, a shadow, like dew or a flash of lightning. Thus we shall perceive them. These words echo through the cat's mind, a reminder to loosen the grip of attachment and aversion. In the human realm, the cat recalls faces shaped by love and sorrow, actions both kind and cruel. In the heavenly realm, the fleeting bliss that can blind the heart. In the hungry ghost realm, the endless craving that consumes itself. In the hell realm, the scorching fires of regret and pain. In the animal realm, the instinctive struggles for survival. In the Asura realm, the fierce battles born of envy and pride. All are threads in the great web of karma, woven by actions, words, and thoughts through countless lives. The cat's gaze turns inward, reflecting on its own journey, the seeds it planted, the fruits it harvested, the suffering it endured, and the moments of awakening. The Diamond Sutra calls to let go, not only of self, but of all concepts, all dualities, all hopes and fears. Therefore, O monks, a bodhisattva should not rely on any form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or dharma. He should not cling to the idea of a self, a person, or a soul. The cat bows deeply in gratitude to this wisdom. It knows the path is difficult, to live without clinging, to act with compassion, to see the world as it truly is, impermanent and empty, yet filled with infinite potential. Subhuti, if a bodhisattva relies on the teaching of emptiness, he truly attains the Buddha way. The cat inhales slowly, feeling the presence of all beings, past, present, and future, woven together by compassion and understanding. The sun sets behind the mountains, casting long shadows across the earth. The cat rises, heart steady, aware that the journey will continue. Liberation is not yet complete, but the glimpse of Dharma has planted a seed deep within. The Diamond Sutra reminds us that awakening lies beyond grasping, beyond duality, in the spaciousness of compassion and wisdom. The night deepens as the cat remains seated beneath the Bodhi tree, the stars above shimmering like ancient eyes watching over the cycles of existence. The teachings of the Diamond Sutra ripple through, the stillness inviting a deepening understanding of the true nature of reality. All phenomena are without self. They arise and pass away like a dream, like lightning flashing across the sky, like bubbles floating on water. The cat contemplates these words, feeling the weight of illusions falling away, like autumn leaves drifting gently to the earth dotted. Recalls the countless lives it has lived, moments of joy and suffering, of kindness and cruelty, of attachment and release. A bodhisattva does not dwell on notions of self, nor on notions of person, being, or soul. This teaching calls for a radical letting go, a release of all fixed ideas, even the notion of liberation itself. The cat feels the vastness opening within, a space beyond concepts, where compassion and wisdom arise naturally. The endless turning of the six realms is seen clearly now, not as punishment, but as the unfolding of karma, a reflection of choices made and paths taken. The cat understands that to cease the cycle, one must cease the seeds of craving, aversion, and ignorance. Therefore, monks, one should cultivate a mind free from grasping, a mind that does not abide anywhere. The cat's heart opens, embracing all beings caught in samsara, feeling their suffering as its own, and their hope as a shared light. The teachings continue to echo softly. Those who see the non-arising of all dharmas are freed from all suffering. The cat bows once more, a gesture of profound humility and resolve. Though liberation has not yet come, the path is clear: to walk with wisdom, to act with compassion, and to cherish the precious opportunity of hearing the Dharma. The Diamond Sutra calls us to awaken beyond all illusions, to live in boundless compassion and wisdom, and to journey steadily toward freedom. The first light of dawn softens the night's shadows as the cat rises beneath the ancient Bodhi tree. The world feels both familiar and transformed, a mirror of impermanence, a reflection of the eternal dot with each breath. The cat feels the weight of countless lives, the echoes of actions sown and harvested through the turning of the wheel. Yet within, a stillness blossoms, a quiet knowing that the journey is not in vain. The Diamond Sutra's timeless words continue to resonate. All conditioned phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow, like dew or a flash of lightning. Thus shall you perceive them. The cat looks toward the horizon, where earth meets sky, and feels the vastness of this truth, opening before it the six realms: human, deva, hungry ghost, hell, animal, and asura, are understood as manifestations of the mind's attachments and delusions. Therefore, monks, a bodhisattva should produce a mind that does not abide anywhere. To abide nowhere. This is the heart of the teaching. To move freely through life without clinging, to act with compassion without grasping, to love without attachment. The cat's eyes reflect a gentle resolve. Though still wandering the realms of samsara, it carries the seed of awakening deep within Dot. It bows deeply to the Buddha, to the Dharma, and to all beings, pledging to continue walking the path with humility and courage. The sutra ends with a final teaching. All beings are the children of the Buddha, and all who seek liberation must cultivate wisdom and compassion. As the sun rises, bathing the world in golden light, the cat steps forward into the next chapter of its journey, heart filled with hope and determination. The endless cycle continues, but so does the light of wisdom, rare, precious, and powerful beyond words. Asterisk through 20 lives and countless forms, the cat has wandered the vast wheel of existence, from human birth to heavenly bliss, from hungry ghosts longing to hellish flames, from the loyal beast to the fierce Asura's rage. Each life was a chapter woven with the threads of cause and effect, actions and consequences intertwined across time. The journey has been long and winding, filled with joys and sorrows, hopes and regrets. Yet within this endless cycle, asterisk a single truth has quietly emerged, that all beings suffer because of attachment, aversion, and ignorance. That the seeds we plant today ripple through the endless ocean of samsara. The ancient teachings remind us to cease suffering. We must cease the causes of suffering. To abandon evil and cultivate goodness. To live with compassion, wisdom, and mindfulness. The cat story is not just a tale of past lives. Asterisk, it is a mirror held up to our own hearts. A gentle call to awaken. To cherish the rare opportunity of hearing the Dharma. To walk the path with courage and kindness. And to strive for liberation from the endless turning of the wheel. Though the cat's journey has not yet reached final awakening, there is hope, a spark glowing softly within, waiting to burst forth into radiant light. May we all learn from this wandering soul and find peace amid the cycles of life. May we sow seeds of kindness and reap the fruits of wisdom and compassion. As the sun sets on this story, may your heart be calm, your mind clear, and your spirit gently carried toward restful sleep.